Rangers Baseball is on the air, brought to you by Chevrolet. Like baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie, Chevrolet cars and trucks rank high on America's list of favorites year after year. By Champion Spark Plugs. For surer starts and better mileage, treat your car to a fresh set of Champions. No matter what you drive, you can't buy a better plug. And by Anheuser-Busch, brewers of Budweiser, the king of beers. There's no better way to relax than with the easy taste of Budweiser.
At various times in its history, it's been called by various names. At one time called Navin Field, at another time called Briggs Stadium, and most recently it's been called Tiger Stadium, the home of the Detroit Tigers. Good evening, everyone. John Miller and Bill Merrill from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, one of the oldest baseball stadiums in America, where the Tigers meet the Detroit Tigers, who ironically right now are one of the youngest ball clubs in baseball in America, and perhaps the most talented young ball club in many, many years. Ralph Houck certainly is high on them. You heard him describe his shortstop second base combination of Trammell and Whitaker as perhaps more advanced defensively than were the combination of Kubek and Richardson at a similar stage, and that's a pretty hefty statement. The Tigers, 11 games over 500, and they are 6-2 against the Texas Rangers. Paul Mirabella, left-hander, going for the Rangers tonight, a rookie making his second start in the big leagues. He'll be opposed by Dave Rozema, a second-year man. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups for the ball game tonight when we continue in Detroit in 60 seconds.
The sporty Chevy Monza.
When you're driving down the road and you're moving through a curve and your car's looking good, it's showing lots of nerve. It's a Monza by Chevrolet.
Whoever thought a car that looked so good and moved so well would be priced so low? Only $3,659. That's the manufacturer's suggested retail price, including dealer preparation for Monza 2+2 hatchback coupe. Tax, license, destination charges, and available equipment extra. Chevy Monza, $3,659. A very stylish little number.
When you're turning lots of heads, standing up above the herd, and your car's moving smooth, start spreading the word. It's a Monza by Chevrolet.
New Chevy Monza, $3,659. For a car so sporty and so well equipped, it's priced surprisingly low.
Monza by Chevrolet.
See your local Chevrolet dealer now.
The batting orders tonight, first of all, for the Texas Rangers. Batting first and playing first base, Mike Hargrove. He got that crucial base hit Sunday night that kept the inning alive for the Rangers with 2 outs and helped them to eventually win it on Gary Gray's dramatic home run. Hargrove at first. At second base is Bump Wills. The catcher batting third, still hitting 300 even, in fact, is Jim Sundberg. The designated hitter batting cleanup and now leading the league in batting is Al Oliver. Oliver is hitting 3-2-3-1-7. And Rod Carew, after going 0 for 7 last night in a 14-inning ball game with Seattle, Carew is now 3-2-3-0-7. So Al Oliver leads the American League in hitting. Batting fifth in right field is Bobby Bonds. In left field is Richie Zisk. Zisk playing in the field for the first time since going on the disabled list. At third base, the hero of Saturday night's dramatic come-from-behind victory, John Lowenstein. In center field with 3 hits in his last 5 at-bats after a long slump, Juan Beniquez. And at shortstop, batting ninth, is Toby Harrah. Pitching for the Rangers, left-hander Paul Mirabella. He has won his only start in the big leagues. For the Detroit Tigers, batting first in center field, Ron LeFleur. LeFleur batting .289 with 51 stolen bases. At second base, sensational rookie Lou Whitaker batting .296. The designated hitter, the fabulous veteran Rusty Staub. Staub is hitting .295 with 89 runs batted in. That leads the major leagues. At first base, batting cleanup is Jason Thompson, a third-year man, batting .296 with 22 homers and 80 runs batted in. In left field is Steve Kemp. Kemp with a batting average of .280 and 54 runs batted in. The catcher, a young Lance Parrish, a fine arm, and Parrish can hit with power. He has 11 home runs. At third base, Aurelio Rodriguez, the veteran, hitting .259. In right field, another veteran, Mickey Stanley, Stanley with a batting average of .250. And at shortstop, the other half of that young combination around second base, Alan Trammell, batting .266. The pitcher for the Tigers is Dave Rozema, and he is 5-5. Manager Billy Hunter of the Rangers meeting with manager Ralph Houck of the Tigers and the umpiring crew, exchanging the batting orders and going over the ground rules here at Tiger Stadium. And right now, we'll take time to pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas. When it comes to Ranger baseball coverage, the Dallas Times-Herald takes a big lead. Catch it at home tomorrow.
The Rangers come in tonight with that 3-game winning streak going after sweeping the Cleveland Indians over the weekend. And the Detroit Tigers come in tonight with a 5-game winning streak. They have won 15 of their last 18 here at Tiger Stadium. And since the All-Star break, this young Tiger ball club has won 18 and lost 7. So in that amount of time, about a month, they are the hottest ball club in the American League. The Rangers start the night in 4th place, 8 games back of Kansas City, as the Chicago White Sox coming from behind in a 3-run homer by Lamar Johnson in the 7th inning to beat the Royals last night at Royal Stadium. So Kansas City with a 2-game lead over California, 3 games over Oakland, and 8 games over Texas. In the East, Boston has a 7-game lead over Milwaukee, 8.5-game lead over New York, and 9 games over the Tigers, who have moved ahead of Baltimore. Meanwhile, tonight in the American League, the Kansas City Royals are again playing at home against Chicago. Mike Foley, the young rookie, 2-0, going for Chicago, and Paul Splittorff, 12-9, is pitching for Kansas City. Second place, California, and third place, Oakland, playing in Oakland tonight. Hartzell going for California, 3-6, and John Henry Johnson going for Oakland. He is 9-6. Now the crowd rising in Detroit for the playing of our national anthem. The umpiring alignment for the ball game tonight, back of the plate, calling the balls and strikes, is Joe Brinkman. At first base, Russ Getz. Umpiring at second base, Nicholas Bremigan. And at third base is Dale Ford. Coaching on the base paths for the Rangers will be Fred Koenig at first base and Pat Corrales at third base. For the Tigers, Dave Rozema takes the mound. Rozema making his 18th start of the season. He's had 3 ball games against Texas already this year. He beat the Rangers in the 4th game of the season at Arlington Stadium on a 6-2 score. Doc Medich took the loss that night. Rozema then had a no-decision ball game about a week and a half later here in Detroit. And, in fact, the Rangers snapped an 8-game losing streak in the second game of a doubleheader, a game in which he started, although Rozema did not get the loss. He went 9 innings, allowing only 1 run on a home run by Bump Wills, and the Rangers won that ball game in the 11th inning. More recently, just prior to the All-Star break, Rozema pitched in Texas and got a 12-7 victory over the Rangers, a ball game in which he had a 12-2 lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning. And the Rangers started chipping away at him a little bit. And Texas, in fact, got the last couple of runs that night against reliever John Hiller. So Rozema has had tremendous success pitching against the Rangers this year. A serious candidate for Rookie of the Year last year, and certainly the shining light in the American League in terms of rookie pitchers. He was 15-7 a year ago. Oddly enough, he is only 5-5 this year. He came up with some arm problems very early in the season, missed a few weeks of the season, has made 17 starts and had only 10 decisions, 5 wins, 5 losses, and a 3.12 earned run average. His last start was on August the 3rd versus the Chicago White Sox last Thursday. but he did not get a decision in that ball game. He won his start before that on July 28th versus the Seattle Mariners, a 5-hitter, and he won it 4-3. He has won 3 of his last 4 decisions. Throws a good fastball and a fabulous changeup. Mike Hargrove leads it off. Hargrove swings at the first pitch and fouls it back to the screen. 0-1. Rosema is the pitcher. Lance Parrish the catcher. Jason Thompson at first base. Whitaker at second. Trammell at short. Rodriguez at third. The outfield. Kemp in left. Leflore in center. And Stanley is in right. 1 strike pitch to Hargrove. Called. Strike 2. 0-2. The trademark of Rosema is dazzling control. He had the best control record of any starting pitcher in the American League last year. In something in the neighborhood of 225 innings, he walked only 34 men last season. Now the 2-strike pitch to Hargrove. There's that changeup, but he misses low with it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We'll be keeping an eye on the scoreboard for you tonight to let you know what happens in Kansas City. That ball game will get started in about a half hour tonight. The White Sox and the Royals. A ball and 2 strikes to Mike Hargrove. Now Rosema winds in the 1-2 pitch. Changes up again and misses low. 2-2. Sid Hudson, a staunch proponent of having that good changeup to go along with a good fastball. And Dave Rosema has a veteran-type changeup. 2-2 pitch. High. Went to the fastball there, and it's 3-2. So he's missed 3 straight times. This year, in 121 and a third innings, Rosema has walked 25. And he's allowed 10 home run balls. Now the payoff pitch to Mike Hargrove. Here it comes. Swung on. Bouncing ball to first. Fielded by Thompson. He waves off Rosema. Makes the play himself. 1 away. Hargrove retired in the ground ball. Hargrove had come to the plate with an even .250 batting average. 1 away for the Rangers. That brings up Bump Wills. Wills batting .230. 6 home runs and 37 runs batted in. The Rangers won 1 of 3 ball games here in Detroit. Their first time in. They lost by scores of 7-6 in 10 innings and 9-6. And then they won 2-1 in 11. Here's the pitch to Wills. Outside, ball 1. Wills has 7 hits in 34 trips against the Tigers this year. Now the 1-0 pitch. Punted third base side. It's a beauty. Charging Rodriguez. Picks it up. Throws not near in time. Base hit for Bump Wills. Wills with a perfect butt. He killed it about 20 feet down the line. And Rodriguez fielded it near the line. The ball just wouldn't get off the grass. Had it gotten off the grass near that third base line, it might have gone foul. It was that close to the foul line. But it stayed in the grass. Rodriguez realized he would have to pick it up and hurry to make a play. And he was unable to do it in time. So a base hit for Wills. That brings up Jim Sundberg. Wills has stolen 34 bases for the Rangers. Been caught 5. Pitches lead at first. Jason Thompson holds in the bag. Tigers swing the infield and outfield around toward left for Sundberg. Quick throw to first by Rosema. Wills with a headlong dive back in. Rosema made it close. Lance Parrish. We're told he has a great throwing arm. Here's the pitch to Sundberg. They pitch out. Wills is not going. Parrish with a throw to first. And Wills again has to dive back in. Well, they pitched out, but Wills was not going. And then Parrish tried to pick him off first at 2 times. Wills has had to dive back in at first. And he's already got quite a dirty uniform. 1 ball and no strikes to Sundberg. 2 homers, 34 runs batted in. Throw to first by Rosema. This time Bump is back in standing up. Wind is blowing out to right field tonight. A lot of the players talking about that's a big scoring game here. Quick throw to first by Rosema. Wills dives back in. Yeah, Rosema making Bump work over there. Sundberg now takes time to the plate, backs out. Now the set. There goes Wills fakes off first, and Sundberg takes a strike. Bump took a big step as though he was going to take off on that pitch, but then he stopped after 1 step and was not going. The count to Sundberg, 1 ball, 1 strike. They've left a big hole on the right side of the infield for him. Now they pitch out again. Wills again is not running. Parrish to the throw to first, but Bump was near the bag and back in standing up. 2-1. Well, the Tigers have shown tremendous interest in keeping Wills close at first base. They pitched out twice, and now Sundberg has an advantage in the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. This, of course, often considered the optimum pitch to run on for a base stealer. 2-1. Let's see. Rosema throws to first. Wills is back in, standing up. One thing about all the throws made by Rosema, Wills is getting a good reading on his move. Now the stretch. There he goes. Sundberg takes the pitch in the dirt. The throw. Not in time. Stolen base for Buff Wills. There, Parrish got a pitch that hit the dirt. In fact, I think it hit home plate. But it bounced up right to him. And he made a low throw to second, but right on the bag, and he made it very close. But Wills gets the stolen base. Second base umpire Bremigan called him safe, and the count to Sundberg is 3-1. So Wills wins the duel and gets his 35th stolen base of the season in 40 tries. The 133rd steal for the Rangers as a team. Now Wills with a long lead from second. 3-1 pitch to Sonny is dribbled foul third base side toward the Tiger dugout. 3-2. The Rangers in the first base dugout here in Detroit. The Tigers have the third base dugout. Big double-deck ballpark. Every seat is closed here. Our radio booth hangs down from the second deck. When we lean out and look straight down from the booth, we're looking right into the fourth row of the stand. We're practically right on top of home plate here. Wills at second. 3-2 count to Sundberg. Rosema's pitch. Swung on. Number first base side. Fielded on one hop by Thompson. He runs over, makes the play. Sundberg retired, and Wills goes to third base. 2 outs. And here's the American League's leading batter, Al Oliver. Oliver with a 14-game hitting streak going. And during the hitting streak, 14 games, he's had 23 base hits. And is hitting .404 in that time. Since the All-Star break, he's hitting .396. 2 outs, runner at third. Oliver with a splitting headache. Was going to play left field, but Billy Hunter put him in as a DH at the last moment. Pitch to Oliver just outside, ball 1. And Richie Zisk was inserted in left field. Oliver choked up in the back, couple of inches. Rosema works for the windup with 2 outs, looks over at Wills. Now the windup. 1-0 pitch, low and inside with a breaking ball. 2-0. Wild first inning in Boston tonight. Boston 3, Cleveland 2. Baltimore 3, Toronto 1 in the first inning. Andre Thornton hit a home run for Cleveland in the first inning, and Carlton Fisk hit a 3-run homer for Boston in the first inning at Fenway. Pitch to Oliver, outside and high. 3 balls and no strikes. Bobby Bonds is on deck. Oliver has a look at third base coach Pat Corrales. See if he'll get the green light. Outfield deep and straight away for Oliver. 10 home runs, 56 runs batted in. Here's a 3-0 pitch. He throws a changeup on 3-0 and misses with it low, ball 4. Boy, Rod Carew last night went 0 for 7 against the Seattle Mariners. That's too many times recently anyway that Carew has had an 0 for 7 night. And he and Oliver are almost tied, and Oliver was just the slightest edge in the league's batting race. Oliver at first, Wills at third. Rosema again will have to work from the stretch as Bobby Bonds comes up. Bonds hitting .270 with 20 homers, 60 RBIs. He swings at a slider, doesn't get it. It's 0-1. Richie Zisk on deck. He would be next. The outfield deep and around toward left for Bobby Bonds. Good home run hitter's park, except in straightaway center, where it's 440 feet. Otherwise, the dimensions are pretty friendly. 1 strike pitch. Curveball, pop foul back out of play, and it's 0-2. 340 right down the left field line. But the left center field in the power alley, it's only 365. 325 to the right field foul pole. And out in right center, 370 feet. And the upper deck around the outfield overhangs the first deck. In other words, it hangs over the field. You could hit a high fly ball that could nestle in the upper deck that might not go out in the lower deck here. 2 strikes, pitch to Bonds, outside and low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow night, Ferguson Jenkins for Texas going after his 11th victory, and Kip Young, young right-hander who's 3-1, will go for the Tigers. 2 outs for the Rangers. Wills at third, Oliver at first, top of the first. 1-2 pitch to Bond. Swung on it high in the air to deep center field. But that's the wrong part of this ballpark. The floor was plenty of room, and he makes the catch. So Bond skies one to deep center. 4 out, number 3. For the Rangers in the first inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 men left on after 1/2 inning. The score, Texas nothing, Detroit nothing.
You know, now that warm weather is here, that means lots of outdoor cooking. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're doing hamburgers or spare ribs, T-bones, or pork steaks. The perfect complement to anything you barbecue is Budweiser. So when the day's bright and warm and you've got some good friends over for a backyard banquet, be sure to have plenty of cold Beechwood-aged Bud on hand. Your friends will appreciate the fact that you're serving them the king of beers, Budweiser. And it's quite a treat for the chef, too. Keep that in mind the next time you're planning a backyard get-together. Nothing beats the flavor of outdoor cooking and the easy taste of the king of beers. Because when you say Budweiser, you said it all. By the way, right now wouldn't be such a bad time either. You know what they say, anytime's the right time for Bud. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis. Paul Mirabella, 24 years of age, from Belleville, New Jersey, making his second start in the big leagues for the Texas Rangers. In his third year of professional baseball, he went in really about 2.5 years in the minor leagues. He won 31 ball games and lost 20, and is 1-0 thus far in the big leagues. His only start against the Chicago White Sox about a week and a half ago in Chicago. That ball game, you may recall, he had a 9-1 lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning and then tired out. And Billy Hunter left him in, even though he was getting everything up high and getting wild and getting hit pretty hard, because the Rangers had such a big lead. And they ran with him tiring out some people in the bullpen. Nonetheless, it was an impressive beginning for Paul Mirabella. He then pitched 1 inning in relief at Yankee Stadium last Tuesday night, and Reggie Jackson took him downtown, and I mean downtown, with a booming home run and a 3-2 pitch. So Mirabella's earned run average is 6.23 going into the ball game tonight, but particularly because of that performance in the first game, I think that might be a little bit deceiving. Ron LaFleur leads it off. Mirabella throws a fastball, curveball, and a good changeup. LaFleur leads off, batting .289. Fastball, chocker toward the middle. Toby to his left, fields near second, throws the first in time, and LaFleur on 1 pitch, he's out number 1. Tigers have a team batting average of .277. And they've been racking up the runs. LaFleur has scored 85 runs this year. They've got Staub with 89 RBIs, Thompson with 80 RBIs, Kemp with 54 RBIs. LaFleur, your leadoff batter, has got 41 RBIs. Here's Lou Whitaker, left-hand batter, stands close to the plate, slightly closed stance, takes a strike call that it's 0-1. John Lowenstein, the third baseman, plays shallow in on the grass. Whitaker just having a dazzling season, hitting .296. Had a great season in the field. Swings here and fouls one straight back. 0-2. Fred, you're going to have to keep me loose here tonight now. We're so close to the home plate area here. You never know when you're going to get you got about a second, I think, to react to a foul ball hit our way. 2 strikes and no balls. The count to Whitaker. Mirabella delivers. Fastball high inside. Boy, he blames that one in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mirabella with that whip-like motion. Left-hander, sort of like Al Rabatsky's move. Quick, violent thrusting of the leg. 1-2 pitch. Ooh, a little bit high. 2-2. Didn't miss by much. Rusty Staub is on deck. The Ranger outfield with a big overshift toward left. They don't look for Whitaker to get around on Mirabella's fastball. 2-2 pitch. Fastball inside. 3-2. So from 2 strikes and no balls, Mirabella has missed 3 straight times, and the count is full. Whitaker, 1 homer, 34 RBIs, 5 triples. Here's the payoff pitch. He missed inside. Ball 4, so Whitaker becomes the Tigers' first base runner. First walk by Mirabella, and here's Rusty Staub. Talking to manager Ralph House before the ball game. Staub had a very slow start last year. Still finished up with more than 100 RBIs. And yet, nowhere near the kind of season he's having right now. Staub is hitting .295, and he has 89 RBIs already. He's played in every game the Tigers have played this year. And Ralph Houk felt the difference was simply a matter the Tigers are getting more men on base in front of Staub for him to drive home. And the left-hand batter, Mirabella, delivers. Change up high, ball one. So he's missed with 5 straight pitches. Staub with that sweet swing. He's always had that classic swing. Nobody's ever tried to fool around with it. Staub chokes up in the bat a little bit. Good contact hitter. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. 1-0 pitch. Curveball. Over for a strike. A beauty. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers' power is all left-handed. But against left-handers this year, they've won 28 and lost 25. Whitaker leads at first. Mirabella holds, kicks and delivers. Swung on a high fly ball. Hit down the left field line. Slicing off into foul ground and back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rusty Staub. In that ball game in Boston tonight, the Indians and the Red Sox, Andre Thornton hit a home run in the second inning. His 22nd of the season. That tied the score, 3-3. Now the 1-2 pitch to Rusty Staub. Sidearm fastball. Oh, where'd that one miss? Mirabella thought he had strike 3. Puts his hands in his hips. Doesn't say anything to plate umpire Brinkman, just glares in a bit. Looks like Sunberg now is saying a few things to Brinkman without actually turning around to make it apparent to everybody. Staub sends right up in the plate, very far up in the box. 2-2 the count. Mirabella set, kicks and delivers. Curveball is a deep and foul down the right field line. Hung up a high curveball that time, and Staub was out in front of it and nailed it high and deep into the second deck down the right field line. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jason Thompson is on deck. Staub, Thompson, and Kent. The big power in the batting order, but all left-handers. Hargrove holding the bag at first against Whitaker. Mirabella kicks and delivers. Fastball. There's a drive to right center field. That's going to be a base hit. Benicus over to cut it off. Whitaker shooting to third, and he is in at third, standing up as Hara cuts off the throw from Benicus. Rusty Staub does it again. Boy, he has worn the Rangers out this season. To Staub at first, Whitaker at third with 1 out, and here's the cleanup batter, Jason Thompson. Well, Jim Rice gets a lot of the publicity among the young players in the American League. But you look at this guy, and in this ballpark, the kind of figures he could accomplish here in the future. This is only his 3rd year in the big league. He has 22 homers and 80 runs batted in, and is batting .296. Runners lead from first and third. A changeup is high and inside, ball 1. Raises infield, double play deep. Hargrove playing behind Staub at first. Thompson has already hit 70 home runs in his big league career. 31 last year. 1-0 pitch, curveball, high, ball 2. Mirabella getting into deep trouble right now. Thompson looks to third base coach Dick Savucci, who flashes some signs. Fred Hatfield is coaching at first. Thompson was born in Hollywood, California, and is 6'4" tall. 2-0 pitch, fastball low, ball 3. Steve Kent, another dangerous left-hand batter, is on deck. Mirabella, left-hander. 3-0 pitch to Thompson. Distracted, here it comes. Down the middle of the fastball, 3-1. One out. A double play ball would get the Rangers out of the inning. Right down Mirabella would just like to somehow get Jason Thompson out, period. 3-1 pitch. Swung on, top foul, back up above our heads into the second deck. The count goes full, 3-2. And let's see if Ralph Houk has Rusty Staub moving from first base with 1 out. Thompson does strike out, like more power hitters do, very frequently. Rusty Staub, the atypical power hitter and RBI man, big contact hitter, rarely strikes out. Hargrove playing near the bag at first, so that they could make a throw over there if they thought Staub was getting too far off. Staub is not running, and Thompson hits a high pop-up, third base side. Lowenstein calls for it, makes the catch, and both runners have to hold. Thompson went after a 3-2 pitch that looked at least from here as though it might have been up out of the strike zone. It was a good moving fastball from Mirabella. And Thompson pops out, a big out there. The 2 men are gone, and that brings up Steve Kemp. Kemp, the roommate of Jason Thompson. A couple of opposites who apparently have become great friends. Thompson, a very big, brooding, quiet type. Played at almost unheard of Cal State Northridge in his college days. Thompson, the effervescent, Kemp, the effervescent, outgoing fellow, cocky, played at USC. Runners at first and third. Mirabella sets and delivers. There's a drive to right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Beninkas over to cut it off. Whitaker scores. Staub going to third. The second goes Kemp. The throw there. He's in time, and he's out at second. Bobby Hara applied the tag, and Steve Kemp, trying to stretch it into a double, is thrown out by Juan Beninkas. But the run counts. Whitaker has scored. And so Kemp will get a single and an RBI. Tigers go down in the first inning with 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left on. After 1 full inning, the score, Detroit 1 and Texas nothing. Don't forget that trip coming up to Kansas City to see the Rangers play at Royal Stadium against the Royals the weekend of August 18th through the 20th. That's the weekend after next. Dan Diaper Tours of Arlington, in cooperation with the Rangers, is sponsoring the trip. The price is $199 per person to get your airfare, your hotel, your tickets for all the ball games, and other extras. Give Dan Diaper a call tomorrow morning at 265-2236. 265-2236. Don't delay. Ricky Zisk leads off for the Rangers in inning number 2. Texas trailing by a run. Zisk gets a bouncing ball foul outside of third. It's 0-1. Zisk, Lowenstein, and Beninkas for the Rangers. Ricky, 13 home runs and 52 RBIs. The pitch. There's the third ball swung out and foul tipped at the plate. It's 0-2. Zisk got base hit each of his first 2 trips to the plate on Sunday night. His first ball game off the disabled list. He said the genie is out of the lamp. Pitch, outside, ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Zisk is very fond of saying things like that. I think it's because he knows it befuddles all of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ricky Zisk. Here's the pitch. Change up in there. 2-2. Roseberry is sort of a toned-down version of Mark Fedrick. He doesn't throw with the velocity of Fedrick, but he can throw it pretty well. He doesn't have the tremendous body English that Fedrick has. And he doesn't go through all of the expansive gyrations that Fedrick does. And yet he talks to himself out there. And he's very young and very talented. Pitch to this. Breaking ball outside. 3-2. Baltimore has been tied by Toronto in the third inning. 3-3. Rico Carty hit his 17th home run with a man aboard. 3-2 pitch swung out and fouled, and the catcher Parrish just can't hold on to it. This barely stays alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Richie's hitting 260. Yeah, I think that's Rico's 18th home run he hit tonight. And he hit number 17 on Sunday against Kansas City. Boy, Carty and Mayberry give them a pretty tough 1-2 punch. Home run and RBI column. Toronto. 3-2 pitch to this. Swung on a high drive to deep right center field. LaFleur going back. Kemp going back. LaFleur calls and makes the catch. Just get it deep, but LaFleur hauls it in for out number 1. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
This is WDAP 820 Fort Worth, Dallas. George Grove says save now on all Benco Pasture mattress sets at Parkway Furniture, Iowa Park, Texas.
Now John Lowenstein back for the Rangers. Lowenstein batting .231, 5 homers and 18 RBIs. Swings, bouncing ball wide at first. Thompson to his right, fields it. He'll take it himself, just in time. Boy. Thompson decided to take that one himself, and he got Lowenstein by about a half step. That's 3 unassisted putouts tonight for Jason Thompson already. 2 away for the Rangers. Here's Juan Benitez. Benitez snapped out of a 4-for-41 streak for that crucial base hit that kept the Rangers alive and led to their victory on Saturday night. And he got 2 more base hits on Sunday night. Juan now has had 3 hits in his last 5 trips. And his batting average at .264. 2 outs, bases empty here in the second. Roseman delivers. A broken bat bouncer wide of the mound. Roseman to his right, fields it, throws, and got it. The bat ends up right on the mound, the outer half of it. As Benitez's bag just sawed right off, and the outer half went swinging to the mound. Roseman fortunately had to go off the mound to field the ball, and he made the play. That's all for the Rangers. 3 up, 3 down. After 1.5 innings, it is Detroit 1, Texas nothing.
Quick Decorating Center.
Do you sell to painting contractors?
We sure do. Because we service contractors from all our stores, we can save you a lot of time and money.
What about special finishes?
We've got a contractor maintenance sales department that can help you with any coating problem. Give us a shot at your next job. I know you like the service and the quality.
I'll just do that.
Quick finest quality for home and industry.
Arlington, home of Six Flags over Texas. More than ever before, your imagination with the world's tallest, largest, fastest double-loop roller coaster, the Shockwave. And just 10 minutes east, the largest wax museum in the Southwest, featuring characters from the region's history. More than 175 figures in wax, and one of the largest antique gun collections in the U.S. Or visit Traders Village, highlighting their annual National Championship Indian Powwow, September 7th through 11th. All this and excellent facilities for your next meeting or seminar in Arlington.
The Rangers' first ever Dr. Pepper Pancho night scheduled for the night of Friday, August 25th, and the Rangers play the Kansas City Royals. They have a great matchup of ball clubs, and then all the youngsters 13 and under can look forward to this beautiful bright red poncho compliment to the Rangers and Dr. Pepper. The ponchos are made from sturdy waterproof vinyl with Rangers written boldly across the front and Dr. Pepper on the back. So make your plans to be on hand at Arlington Stadium on Friday, August 25th for Dr. Pepper Poncho Night. There's something else coming up that weekend on the 27th. Tell you about a little bit later. Here's Lance Parrish with swinging strike and a let-up at 0-1. Parrish, Rodriguez, and Stanley. The Tigers have a 1-0 lead. Parrish having a good year for a rookie. Swings, it's a high fly ball to deep left field. Risk is back, and right next to the warning track, he makes the catch. And Parrish didn't even have a big cut at that one, and hit it all the way back to the warning track, where this called it in. Parrish, with 11 home runs this year and only 190 at bats. He hit one against Texas, hit it against Matlack early in the season. Here's Aurelio Rodriguez. Rodriguez batting .259, 6 home runs, 31 RBIs. He goes against the left-handers. Phil Mankowski, left-hand batter, goes against the right-handers for the Tigers. Pitch, breaking ball, bounces 2 feet in front of the plate. Ball 1. Now getting good production from his third baseman, Mankowski, hitting .304, the left-hand third baseman. And between the two of them, they made only 8 errors over there this year. Rangers really play this guy to pull. Aurelio Rodriguez. 1-0 pitch, curve, low ball 2-0. Milwaukee with Yankee Stadium tonight. Mike Caldwell, 14-5, going for the Brewers. Dick Pedro for the Yankees, just getting started there. Gauge of Cleveland 3, Boston 3 at Fenway. Wind must be blowing out at Fenway tonight. There's a blazing fastball over for a strike, 2-1 to Rodriguez. Lee Mays hit a home run for Baltimore tonight. Party for Toronto. It's 3-3, Baltimore and Toronto after 3. 2-1 pitch. Pop foul off to the right side out of play. 2-2. Seattle will be at Minnesota tonight. Ball game that have been started shortly. Seattle will throw Jim Colburn, and Minnesota will go with Gary Sheehan. Chicago at Kansas City. They're just getting started. Foley for Chicago. Splitter for KC. 2-2 pitch. Fastball, he's stricken out. High, hard one, and Rodriguez went after it. Mirabella's first strikeout, 2 away. That brings up Mickey Stanley. Veteran outfielder, always a fine outfielder. Stanley is hitting .250 with 2 homers and 5 runs batted in. He's only played in 33 games. Has batted 93 times. Boy, how about those Oakland A's? Seems like 3 or 4 times a week somebody says, boy, how about those Oakland A's? Last night they shut out California 1-0. Curve ball over for a strike to Stanley, 0-1. They had 17,000 plus in Oakland last night. Of course, it was the half-price night. Down to 1 strike pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2, another curve ball. Steve Renko got the shutout last night. They're getting a lot of mileage out of a couple of veterans who didn't seem to have very bright futures. Renko and Boberg. 2 strike pitch. Curve ball, check swing, foul ball off to the right side. 0-2. Oakland 3 out, California 2 out. This afternoon at Wrigley Field, the Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Cubs 9-5. Tonight, Montreal got 6 runs in the first inning against the Mets, and after 1, 6-0 Expos. 2 strike pitch, fastball. That one fouls off the mask of plate umpire Joe Brickman, and he'll walk around a little bit. Stanley again, just barely staying alive. 0-2. Philadelphia at St. Louis after 8 innings. St. Louis 2 and the Phillies nothing. They're in the 9th inning now, and that is final. Who got the victory? Vukovic got the shutout victory for St. Louis tonight. Former American Leaguer, he was last in Toronto. Philadelphia and St. Louis playing another ball game tonight. That's a doubleheader. 2 strike pitch. Clear ball. Bounce toward second. Wills waits for it. Comes down, picks it up, and throws him out. So Mirabella makes short work of the Tigers in the second. 3 up and 3 down. He played 2 full innings, and the score is Detroit 1, the Rangers nothing.
47 Monza. Whoever thought a car that looked so good and moved so well would be priced so low? Only $3,659. That's the manufacturer's suggested retail price, including dealer preparation for Monza 2+2 hatchback coupe. Tax, license, destination charges, and available equipment extra. Chevy Monza, $36.59. A very stylish little number. Chevy Monza, $36.59. For a car so sporty and so well equipped, it's priced surprisingly low. See your local Chevrolet dealer now.
The only other ball game still going on that is going on right now in the National League. Atlanta at Cincinnati, 0-0 after 1.5 innings. Necro for Atlanta. Hume for Cincinnati. Later on in the National League, out on the West Coast, San Diego will be at Los Angeles. Gaylord Perry hooking up with Don Sutton. A couple of veterans who have been the brunt of many accusations in the past about what they do to the baseball besides throw it. And Houston will be at San Francisco. Dixon for the Astros, Montefusco for San Francisco. 2 innings here, 1-0 Detroit. We go to the third, and stepping in for more play-by-play, here's Bill Merrill.
Thanks, John, and here's Toby Harrah, the Rangers shortstop tonight, leading it off. And Rosema comes to him with a breaking ball strike. Harrah hitting at 207. He's been a 207 hitter against Detroit this year as well. 4 homers, 29 runs batted in. Here's the 1-strike delivery, blowing away, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrah, Hargrove, and Wills will face Dave Rosema, young right-hander, with a record of 5 wins, 5 losses on the year. 15-7 for the Tigers last year. 6'4" right-hander throws. Bouncing ball to the shortstop. Trammell comes in, grabs, throws, and gets him. One gone here in the third. Tigers are run on 2 hits. The Rangers no runs on 1 hit. Top of the order, Mike Hargrove standing in. Mike rolled out to the first baseman, Jason Thompson, his only trip. Came on tonight hitting at .250, 6 homers, and 30 runs batted in. He's 4 for 27 against this ball club, 148. Baltimore and Toronto tied at 3, as well as Cleveland and Boston. Rosemall set and the right-hander fires. Swung on drill to left field. Base hit by a leaping third baseman, Aurelio Rodriguez. And Hargrove picks up the Rangers' second base hit of the evening, and the man who has the other, Bump Wills, comes to the plate right now. Wills bunted his way aboard in the first inning. And now Hargrove, with 1 out, has hit a sharp single to left field. Going the opposite way, Rosemar, career-wise, 3-1 over the Rangers. 2-0 in 3 starts this year. His 4th start against Texas. There's a lob toss over to first base. Rodriguez even with the bag at third and wide at third base. Jason Thompson holds against the runner. Outfield shaking a little off to the left side, the opposite way. Wills takes the strike. 0-1. Rangers with 2 men on in the first inning with 2 outs and cannot get a run across. They have the potential tie run on at first base right now with only 1 out. Here's a check by Rosemar, the runner, and the pitch to Wills. Breaking ball low inside, and the count is 1-1. A ball and a strike on Bump Wills. First of 2 games in the final of the year tomorrow night between these 2 clubs. Ferguson Jenkins will be working for Texas tomorrow night. Rosemar comes to the set position, delivers one very low, and pops out of the glove of the first baseman, Jason Thompson. Keeps it in front of him, picks it up. Kip Young, a record of 3-1, will be on the mound for the Tigers. Another one of the fine young pitchers that the Tigers have in their system. There's another move over, and Hargrove gets back ahead of it. So Rosemar trying to keep runners for the Rangers very close. Texas has twice the base. Bump Wills doing the honors, his 35th of the year. Earlier tonight, here's the pitch low inside. Parrish comes up as though to throw, but did not uncork the toss down to first base.
Bill, I can't recall the last time I saw anybody show so much respect for Hargrove's base stealing ability.
Mike doesn't run all that much.
They're really worried about it.
2-2 on the year. Here's the move, and the pitch is slammed. Oh, into right center field by Whitaker at second base. LaFleur over to get it, and Hargrove journeys over to third. So Mike was moving in a hurry, and on a ball that was hit just by a diving Lou Whitaker at second base. And in shallow right center field, Hargrove got the good jump and moves on over to third. So now, with only 1 out, the Rangers have the tie run at third base. The go-ahead run on at first. So Wills is 2 for 2 tonight, coming on hitting at .230. And here's Jim Sundberg. He rolled up the first baseline and was out unassisted to Thompson, his first trip. A little different situation with a man on third rather than one on first base, rather on second. Because the first baseman then has to hold. Pitch comes in to Sundberg, low and away, and it's 1-0. Runners at the corners for Texas. Corrales giving the signs as Sundberg looks down. Fred Koenig, as usual, up at first base. Outfield pulling Sundberg off to the left side. The infield set and double played up. 2 on, 1 out. There's a move over to first base, and Wills jumps back ahead of it. Well, that he might show respect for Wills because he has been able to swipe a base here in the first inning. Bump 2 for 2, and the Rangers now about hit the Tigers. 3-2, but trailing the score 1-0. Wills is running. The pitch swung on a miss. There's the throw down to second. They have Wills and a goosey. Here's Hargrove coming down the line. The throw to the plate, and Hargrove is out of there. Hargrove trying to bowl over the catcher, Lance Parrish. But Parrish, a good size guy, would have no part of it. And Hargrove is tagged out, and the plate umpire, Joe Brinkman, waiting till Catcher came up to be sure that he held on with the ball before he made the call. The pitch was a strike to Sundberg. Well, the throw went down to Whitaker. And then Will saw that he might be out and was going to give Hargrove a chance, so he got in a little goose chase. And that will go from 2 to 4 to 2 for the putout on Hargrove coming to the plate. So now there are 2 outs with a man at second. Pitch is low, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now, Will's got a terrible jump that time.
He really did. But he was trying to play it cool and give Hargrove a chance to come on in, and Mike tried, but to no avail as Whitaker made a perfect throw to the plate. Pitch to Hargrove, or rather to Sundberg. Bounced by Aurelio Rodriguez. Picks up, throws, and still gets him on a close play at first base. Sundberg shot a bouncer down to third base, jumped off of the chest of the third baseman Rodriguez, stayed right with it, picks up, and he's got a rifle for an arm, and tosses out Sundberg. Well, a threat by the Rangers, but nothing developing, no runs to it, and 1 man left. And after 2.5 innings to play, the Tigers won, the Rangers nothing.
Whenever it's time for the great game of baseball, whenever the ump tells the players to play ball, after a double play, a pitch that saves the day, anytime's the right time to say, when do you play? Budweiser, that's the day for any time at all. After a long home run, after the game is won, King of Bears is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, when you say yeah, baseball, when you say Budweiser, you get it all. You get it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Broadcast of the Texas Ranger baseball games are the property of the Texas Ranger Baseball Network. Any reproduction without the prior written consent of the Ranger Network is prohibited. The radio and television broadcasting rights of the Texas Ranger baseball games are owned and operated by the Texas Ranger Baseball Network, a division of the City of Arlington. General managers, sportscasters, engineers, and directors of these broadcasts are employed and compensated for services by the City of Arlington, Texas. Alan Trammell, the shortstop, starts it off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ron LaFleur and Lou Whitaker will be next. Right-handed batting Trammell hitting at .266, a couple of home runs and 22 runs batted in. He's been a hot hitter against Texas, .400 this year. Pitch blowing away, 1 ball and nothing. This is 8 for 20 against the Rangers. Tigers fattened up their batting average against the Rangers in that last stand in Arlington. Outside goes the next delivery, and it's 2-0.
Didn't he have 5 hits in 1 ball game?
Yeah, he sure did. He was batting very little until that big night when they won 12-7. Here's the 2-ball delivery by Mirabella. High, and it's ball 3, 3-0. Ball's walked only 1 batter, but unfortunately he was the man that came around to score. That was Whitaker back in the 1st inning. 1 out walk. 3-0 to Alan Trammell, and here's the pitch. Ball 4. He lost him on 4 pitches. Second walk given up by Mirabella. So the Tigers got their leadoff batter aboard, and here's Ron LaFleur, who grounded out his only trip. Left side of the infield, pulls in a little bit. LaFleur, tremendous speed down that first baseline, and he'll draw Lowenstein, the third baseman, in on the cut of the grass. Mirabella from the belt. The check over to first base. Squares around, takes the pitch for a strike. Over the outside edge. 0-1. 2 balls, 1 strike on the second man up. LaFleur, who takes the reading of Dick Krasuski, coaching at third. Fred Hatfield up at first base for the Tigers. Hatfield pinching toward the center part of the diamond. Here's a check by the lefty, and he delivers low. Ball 1, strike 1. LaFleur coming on tonight, hitting at .289 with 6 homers and 41 runs batted in. He also has swiped 51 bases this year. Here's the check of the runner. Trammell and the pitch to the plate. Curveball low inside, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Baltimore and Toronto still tied at 3 in the 3rd. In the 2nd, Cleveland and Boston tied at 3. No reports yet on Kansas City and Chicago, a very important game. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Fastball ripped into right center field. Base hit. Bonds over to cut it off. Trammell will have to put on the brakes and hold at second base. Well, LaFleur hit that one like a bullet into right center field, and Bonds raced over quickly to cut it off. Here's Lou Whitaker, who walked and scored the game's only run. 3-0 still, hitting at 296. He's been a 346 hitter against Texas, 9 for 26, no homers. And 3 runs batted in, and Sid Hudson's going to come out to the mound and have a couple of words with the left-hander. Paul Mirabella making his second start in the majors. Paul has worked only twice his first and only start prior to tonight against Chicago. And then, of course, the one inning of relay pitching against New York. And the last ball game up there last Tuesday.
See, Connie Ryan just made a call down to the bullpen, and the Rangers are going to get somebody up now.
Somebody stirring, and that looks like Big Doc Medic coming out of the bullpen. Been relegated down there again. All right, Sid has completed his words with the young left-hander, Mirabella, and he'll be looking at Lou Whitaker, a left-handed batter. Doesn't possess all that much power, only 1 homer and 8 doubles. 5 triples this year. He's up there right now with 2 on and nobody down. Ranger infield trying to put on a play. Here's the throw through by Sundberg to second with Harrah over the cover to no avail. And the runner there, Trammell, was able to go belly first back in. Hargrove shooting down that first baseline. Wills over to cover at first. And Harrah had moved over to take the play at second base. And the pitch was good for a strike to Whitaker. Next delivery, low ball, and it's 1-1. Lowenstein and Hargrove closing fast on the plate with the delivery each time by Mirabella as they look for Whitaker, given every indication that he's going to try to move the runners. Trammell at second, and LaFleur at first, up a notch. Here's the pitch. Flares, bunted, and fouls it back, and the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Rangers had a play on that time with Lowenstein being able to charge into the plate, and then Toby Harrah breaking down the line from shortstop to cover third.
They went just the opposite way that time as they did on 2 pitches prior to that one. All right, 1 ball, 2 strikes, so that may take Whitaker out of the situation of trying to lay it down. They may let him swing away. Let's find out what Ralph House has in mind. Infield still playing close, and here's the pitch. Curveball outside, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes on sweet Lou Whitaker. Second baseman Rusty Staub would be next. No outs, 2 on. Rangers love to see the double play possibility develop right along about now. Here's the 2-2 pitch. High, ball 3. So after being up on the batter, Whitaker, Mirabella has forced the count full, 3-2. And he's only a pitch away from getting him out or putting him on. Ready with a 3-2 delivery, attacking the pitch. Strike 3 called. He got him looking, and Whitaker knew it. Fastball, he blew it right over the heart of the plate, about knee high. And Mirabella picked up a very important strikeout, his second of the night. He picked up Rodriguez back in the second inning on strike. Now that'll bring on Rusty Staub. He had a single. He leads the league in RBIs with 89. He also has smacked 18 home runs. Left-handed batter. Now 1 out, 2 men still on. A walk and a base hit. Pitch to Staub over for a strike call.
Pretty gutsy pitch to start off with Staub there. He wants to start off with a strike. And he went to the curveball and got it over.
Right in there. Rusty stands well up in the box. Chokes on the bat. Great eye for the zone. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. Well, that'll be Toby Harrah's meet at shortstop. Dances under it and has it. Fly rule, infield fly rule called, and there's 2 men gone. So Staub, hitting the second pitch, pops up to the shortstop, Toby Harrah. That'll leave it up to Jason Thompson, who popped up to third base, his only trip. Thompson has not hit well at all against the Rangers this year.
Well, they got a few home runs in Fenway tonight, Bill.
Must be blowing out.
Third inning, Jim Rice has hit a 3-run homer, and Dwight Evans has hit a 2-run homer in the same inning. 8-4, Boston after 3 innings. Cleveland has hit 2 homers in that game.
I'll move Rice ahead of Staub, blowing outside. Ball 1 to Jason Thompson. Rice started the night with 86 RBIs. What'd you say, a 3-run homer?
3-run homer.
Out of time with him. 89 apiece now. 1-0 on Thompson. Here's the pitch. Strike call with a breaking ball over the outside edge. Steve Kemp is out on deck. He has the game's only RBI. Trammell at second. He opened the inning by a walk and Ron LaFleur, whose single is on at first base. Mirabella's got 2 men out since putting those two on to open the frame. Just off of the corner, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike.
Cleveland had a home run from Andre Thornton and another one from somebody. We're not sure who it was. The report was garbled, but Fisk also had one earlier for Boston. 5 homers in that game in 3 innings.
Wind must be blowing hard. All right, here's a look at the 2-1 delivery by Mirabella. Change up over. Strike call. Nice curveball. Just a little off. Now the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and 2 on.
He's had better control with his curveball than he has with his fastball. He's been missing high with that fastball quite a bit tonight.
Maybe trying to overthrow a little bit too much. Peering into Sundberg with the count of 2 balls, 2 strikes as the sign. And here's the pitch. Fastball bounce back to Mirabella. Goes up. He's going to make the play underhanded to Hargrove. Running 3/4 of the way over before delivering. Well, a fine job of pitching by Mirabella after he gave up a walk and a base hit. And the Tigers got nothing. And after 3 complete innings of play, it's still Detroit 1, Texas nothing.
WBAP 820. Sports Spectrum has Sacco. It's the colorful new Tuesday morning sports section in the Dallas Morning News with a strong right smash that puts the competition against the ropes with the most complete sports coverage in town. You'll get more than the scores. Sports Spectrum captures all the drama, all the action of every sport under the sun. Read Sports Spectrum every Tuesday morning, only in the Dallas Morning News. We'll knock your lights out.
Once you've had air conditioning on one car, you'll find it hard to do without it on your next car. But what's even harder is facing a long road trip in your present car with an air conditioner that's not working. When you start getting that uncomfortable, clammy feeling, come to Charles Auto Supply, 401 Williard, Arlington. Charles Auto Supply has a complete range of original equipment quality Delco replacement parts, available for all popular American cars. Want to get back into the cold? See Charles Auto Supply, 401 Williard, Arlington.
By the way, would you like to compete on the field with the Texas Rangers and the Kansas City Royals? Win a trip to Hawaii for 2 or a brand new 1978 Monte Carlo? Well, you can, and it's all part of the Big Player Skills Night at Arlington Stadium, Sunday, August 27th. If you win, you'll compete on the field right along with the Rangers and Royals in hitting and throwing. And you may also win one of 4 trips to Hawaii or a new Monte Carlo courtesy of the Dallas County Chevrolet dealers. It'll be a lot of fun with $400 in prizes awarded to fans who participate on the field. So register now and register often at your participating Dallas and Tarrant County Chevrolet dealership. Here's Oliver leading it off. Ranger designated hitter tonight. Walked his first trip. Looks at a pitch over the outside edge. Strike call. Oliver, Bonds, and Zest. All right in the meat of the order for Rozema here in the 4th inning. Rozema setting. Here's the pitch. Swung on, drill to right field, down the line, in for a base hit. And finally picked up in right field, but Stanley gets it back in. Oliver holds on with a single and a good job as Mickey Stanley took that one right off the 325 sign where it had bounded. And Oliver now has hit in 15 straight ball games. So he got the Rangers' 4th hit. And here's Bond. While we have a moment, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas.
If you can't be in the grandstand tonight, be at the newsstand in the morning and pick up a Dallas Times-Herald Texas edition.
Bonds nothing out of 1. A fly ball to center. There's a move over to first base, and Oliver has to jump quickly back ahead of it. 1-0 Tigers leading. The Rangers now with their 4th base hit have out-hit Detroit 4-3. And now another hard throw by Rozema. He's apparently letting the runners really perturb him tonight. Rozema on his last several starts has pitched very well until late in the ball game. Tonight, as a matter of fact, his last start, he had a 2-hitter going through 7 innings. In the 8th inning, he got no one out. Here's a look on the pitch. Curveball low and away, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Or rather, 1-0 on Bonds. Bonds backing out. Takes a look down the third base side at Corrales. So Oliver is on for his 2nd time tonight, just extending his hit streak to 15 in a row. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball up the third base side, grabbed by Rodriguez. It's going to be a foul ball as it hit. And Rodriguez taking no chances. And immediately the third base umpire, Bill Deegan, or rather checking on Dale Ford, indicated foul ball. And then Joe Brinkman, the plate umpire, indicated the same. So the ball hit in foul ground and then took off fair up the third baseline. So it was a foul ball, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike on Bobby Bonds. Oliver came on tonight, leading the American League in hitting. If you carry it out to 4 places, 323-2, as opposed to Carew's 3-2-3-1. Here's the check and the pitch. Bonds, a breaking pitch, low and away. Count of 2 balls, 1 strike. Montreal 6-0 after 3 over New York in the National Loop. Pittsburgh has won over Chicago 9-5. Atlanta giving Cincinnati more trouble, 2-0 after 4. Swinging and missing, strike 2. Big breaking ball that time, and Bonds could not come up with it. Nobody down. The tie run is on at first base, potentially, for the Rangers. 2-2 the count on Bobby Bonds, who leads the Rangers with 60 RBIs. Also in home runs with 20. Here's the check and the 2-2 pitch. Ripped to center field. Base hit. LaFleur comes on and grabs it. Oliver will have to hold at second base. So the Rangers with back-to-back singles here in the 4th inning get something going again, and that's base hit number 5, given up by Rozema. Brings on Richie Zisk. 0 out of 1, a fly ball to center. Zisk said he's about 75-80% up to par. Still gets some twinges. Swings at that certain angle that it comes off. But he said he's extremely happy to be back playing. About to go wild, sitting and watching, unable to participate. Stands in after reading Corrales at third base. 2 on, nobody out. Infield set for the double play possibility. Rozema in trouble. We got action in the bullpen down the left side. Bouncing ball to third. Rodriguez will go to second. 1 there. Back to first. Double play. And over to third moves Oliver. Rodriguez with a quick look to third. Started to go that route, but then he realized that he had extreme speed at first base in Bobby Bonds. So he simply took the route of going around the horn for the double play and erasing Bonds at second, and they got Zisk at first base. So the double play goes 5-4-3. Rodriguez, Whitaker, Thompson, and over to third moved Oliver. Here's Lowenstein, 0 out of 1. Pitch, strike at the knees. Well, acted as though he might be wanting to lay that one down and try to beat it out for a base hit and squeeze Oliver home at the same time. And Rodriguez came charging down the third base side. Now there are 2 men out. Tigers turning the double play. And the tie run is 90 feet from home plate. Here's the pitch. Lowenstein swings the foul tip in and out of the mitt of Lance Parrish, and the count is 0 balls, 2 strikes. But quickly, Rozema gets in front of Lowenstein, Ranger third baseman tonight. 2 strikes. Texas getting base hits from Oliver and Bonds to open up. But then the double play ball has eased the situation considerably on the Tiger front. Rozema signs that he's ready, and the right-hander fires. Just off of the corner, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Went away from him with a fastball. Tried to make it good enough to tempt John, but he would lay it not and just simply stayed away and took it for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 on. Oliver down at third, and in rides the pitch. Low gets away from Parrish, and here is Oliver on to score the tie run. And let's see how they score that one. Be a wild pitch. So the ball game is tied as Oliver dances home from third base with a tying run on a wild pitch. We have a winner in our first run contest, Fleet Page of Richland Hills, Texas. So Mr. Page is the winner of a couple of tickets to a Ranger home game of his choice, subject to availability. The first run contest brought to you by the First National Bank of Fort Worth, where everybody knows the First is best. And he'll be notified by mail about his winning. All right, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lowenstein. Here's the pitch. strike 3 call. They got him. Well, it's a good thing that Rosemond corked the wild pitch because the Rangers got the tie run on a couple of hits, no errors, and nobody left. And after 3 1/2 innings of play, it's Texas 1, Detroit 1.
I've got grease on my fingers, oil on my shoes. I'm always under the hood, but I wouldn't change places with anyone else, even if I could. I've worked on every car, big and small, every kind of engine too. And there's one thing that applies to them all, whether they're old or new. You can't buy better blood for any kind of car than Champion. You can't buy better blood no matter where you are than Champion. Champion's number 1 in the world, they're number 1 in your car. Some folks don't mind working in a big place, being part of a team. I prefer just me and that engine, nobody in between. You can't buy better blood for any kind of car than Champion. You can't buy better blood no matter where you are than Champion. Champion's number 1 in the world, they're number 1 in your car. No, you can't buy better blood for any kind of car than Champion. You can't buy better blood no matter where you are than Champion. No, you can't.
By the way, if you'd like to win a couple of tickets to a Ranger home game of your choice, just send a postcard to the Ranger First Run Contest, care of the First National Bank of Fort Worth, Post Office Box 2260, Fort Worth, Texas 76101. And our winner tonight, Fleet Page of Richland Hills, Texas. Well, the Rangers have tied it at a run apiece, and we go to the last half of the 4th inning. Steve Kemp had a single, drove in to Tigers' only run. Will lead it off. Parrish and Rodriguez to follow here in the inning. So Mirabella has been drawn even. Rangers got a couple of base hits. And Oliver moving over to third base on a double play ball. So he was able to score on the wild pitch and thus tie the ball game. Toronto leading Baltimore now in the 5th, 4-3. Here's the first pitch. Just inside, ball 1. No score between Chicago and Kansas City after an inning. Kemp with a single to right center. Got Whitaker home. Foul ball back on the screen. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike on left fielder Steve Kemp. Starting it off for the Tigers. And their half of the 4th. Here's the next delivery. High. Count of 2 balls, 1 strike. Mirabella reading Sundberg once again. Left-hander fires very high, and the count is 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Kemp running up as though might try to drag one and beat it out for a base hit. But the pitch was way out of the strike zone, so he's up front, 3-1. Here's the 3-1 delivery. Popped up, coming back off in foul ground, giving chase is Lowenstein. John has the room, and he has the ball for the out. John Lowenstein, third baseman, catching the pop foul off Kemp's bat, and there's 1 gone here in the 4th inning. And catcher Lance Parrish will be the batter. He had a fly ball that sent this just shy of the warning track in left field his first trip. Been on kind of a home run binge here of late. Hitting very well the last couple of weeks. 11 homers, 25 runs batted in. He's had only 1 hit against Texas this year, and it was a home run. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball high and away, 1-0. A tie game. Detroit played it a run the first inning. The Rangers tying it in the 4th. Here's the 1 ball delivery way outside, and the count is 2-0. Well, Mirabella got behind Kemp, but then got him on a pop foul. Aurelio Rodriguez is on deck. Infield really pulling Parrish. Here's the pitch. Hard swing and a miss. Strike 2-1. Batting practice today, he was zipping him out of here. Tell you what, in most places in this ballpark, except right down the right field line, you earn a home run. There's a long drive that will send Beniquez back. Still on the move, and he grabs it in left center. Oh, what a shot. And Juan Beniquez playing him precisely in the right spot in the outfield. Got back quickly and hauled it in left center field. Just a bullet in the left center, and Beniquez makes it look easy. 2 gone, and here he is. Aurelio Rodriguez. He became Mirabella's first strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. So he's nothing out of one. Hitting at .259 coming into play. That's 7 hits and 23 trips against the Rangers this year. He's hitting better than .300. Pitch up high, ball 1. Too quickly gone here in the inning on a foul and a liner to left center. Mirabella all set. And the pitch to Aurelio is low inside, ball 2. Bobby Bonds way over in right center. They give him, Rodriguez, the right field line completely. 325 down that line, but it's 340 to left. Hart swinging a miss. Count of 2 balls, 1 strike. And Mammoth 440 straight away center. Out in far left center, 400 feet. Far right center, it's 415. So it's a ton and a little more. There's another swinging strike, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez appearing in most of all games. He's had injuries last year, especially, and the year before, but he's been in this is 89th ball game this year. By the way, the Rangers playing their 109th game of the year. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground sharply to Harrod, shortstop. Gloves, throws, and gets him. So it's an easy inning for Mirabella as he puts them down 1-2-3. And after 4, it's Texas 1, Detroit 1.
WVAP 820.
Guys also makes those good guys fresh nuts. Guys has cashews, Brazils, peanuts, walnuts, pecans, almonds. Take your pick.
Don't forget the guys, real potato chips. Jack in the Box. Now you're cooking, Jack.
At some restaurants, a hamburger is the beginning and the end. At Jack in the Box restaurants, it's only the beginning. We've got everything from real onion rings to super tacos. When we tell you we're really cooking, we're really cooking.
The food never stops at Jack in the Box. The food never stops at Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box. Now you're cooking, Jack.
Inning number 5, and for more action, again, John Miller.
Thanks, Bill. 1-1 tie. The Rangers with 5 hits, the Tigers with 3 hits. Texas getting its run on a wild pitch thrown by Dave Roseman. Texas, a very confident ball club. Talking to some of the players tonight around the batting cage. This is a ball club that's attitude is swung around somewhat. At least a lot of the players feel that way. A lot of the players are letting their beards grow, and Kurt Bavacqua explained why to me. In fact, he looked at me incredulously in the locker room when I arrived at the ballpark tonight. He said, "Where's your beard?" I said, "Well, I usually try to keep shaved when I'm working." And he explained to me that everybody was growing a beard, and they would keep growing this beard until they lost 2 straight ball games. And this all had to do with positive thinking. So Texas trying to get all of its thoughts and vibes, I guess you could call it, all of their being composed toward the one object of winning ball games and getting themselves right back up into a threatening position in the pennant race. Here's Juan Beniquez. He swings at a low slider, doesn't get it. It's 0-1. Beniquez to be followed by Toby Harrah and Mike Hargrove. Beniquez hit a comebacker his first time. He's 0-1. Rangers got their run in the 4th. The Tigers got their run in the 1st. 1 strike pitch, curveball, called strike 2, 0-2. The Chicago White Sox have a 2-0 lead over Kansas City. The White Sox got 2 runs in the 2nd inning against Paul Splittor. Royals batting in the 2nd, trailing 2-0. 2-strike pitch to Beniquez. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boston 8 and Cleveland 4 after 4 innings now. Toronto got a home run from Woods, and after 6 innings, Toronto 4, Baltimore 3. Yankees and Brewers are in the 5th inning, 0-0. 1-2 pitch. Beniquez swings at a curveball and just topples it foul, third base side, 1-2. Montreal still leading the Mets 6-0 after 5 in the National League. Expos got 6 runs in the 1st inning tonight. Atlanta 3, Cincinnati 0 after 5 innings. The Reds with a victory, coupled with the Giants' loss later on tonight, could move into first place by themselves. But they trail 3-0. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Beniquez. Swing and a foul ball. That one not handled by Parrish, so Beniquez stays alive. young right-hander Dave Rozema, throwing for the Detroit Tigers. Tell you, when you figure that the Tigers have lost Rozema for different parts of the season, Fidrich for virtually all of the season, and then you look at their record and how well their pitchers have done, then you think as to if Rozema had been healthy all year and if Fidrich had been there all year, where they might be right now. And that gives you some indication as to how confident they are about the future here. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball low, 2-2. Jim Slayton, whom they acquired from Milwaukee, is 12-8 for them. Jack Billingham, whom they acquired from Cincinnati, is 11-5 for them. A couple of cast-offs. 2-2 pitch to Beniquez. Outside and high, 3-2. They had some other young pitchers this year have done good jobs for them. Sykes, Bob Sykes, the most notable. He is 6-5. Milt Wilcox, another cast-off, is 8-8. 3-2 pitch, pop foul, back out of play. That one reaches all the way upstairs. Well, the Kansas City Royals bounced back and got 4 runs in the bottom of the second inning. So after 2 innings, Kansas City 4 and Chicago 2. 4-2 KC. Count is full to Juan Beniquez, 3 balls and 2 strikes, leading off the 5th inning for the Rangers. Dave Rozema, young right-hander, winds and delivers. Foul ball. Back of the plate. Rozema just turned 22 years of age on Saturday. So this is his first start after his 22nd birthday. 3-2 to Beniquez. Pretty good duel going right here. Rozema has the sign, nods his head, winds, and the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, line drive to left field, base hit. Rozema threw him a curveball, and Beniquez shot it hard, out over shortstop and into left field. So Juan has a base hit. That's his 4th base hit in his last 7 at-bats. And Beniquez, who hits in bunches when he gets hot, may be starting that streak again. Here's Toby Harris. So the Rangers have the potential go-ahead run on the base paths with nobody out. And let's see what Billy Hunter has Toby doing here. Harris grounded out to shortstop his first time. Tigers are going to get a pitcher up in the bullpen down the left field line. Beniquez leads at first. Rozema turns and throws over there. Lob toss. Beniquez back in, standing up. Tigers have a right-hander, Jack Morris, up and throwing in their bullpen. Here's the stretch and the pitch. Hera bluffs the bunt, takes the pitch. Parrish came up ready to throw to first base, but Jason Thompson had come down the line when he saw the fake bunt by Toby. So Parrish held on to the ball. 1 ball and no strikes as Hera took that pitch out of the strike zone. Now a long look down to third base coach Pat Corrales. On deck, Mike Hargrove. So the Rangers, to break that tie here in the 5th, so they move Beniquez along. Toby swinging away here and drills it foul down the right field line. Well, he nailed that one, but foul down the right field side over the bullpen. Tiger outfield playing him to pull all the way around. So Toby might have been looking to right field that time. Got the first baseman Thompson holding on the bag. The second baseman Whitaker playing way over toward the middle. So the big hole in the infield is on the right side. Beniquez with a long lead at first. Quick throw by Rozema. Juan dives back in safely. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 innings in Minnesota tonight. The Seattle Mariners won. The Minnesota Twins won. Minnesota's had a misery with Seattle. Throw to first. Beniquez back in, sliding head first. Another close play. Rozema's got a very quick move over there. He had the wind blowing out to right field earlier tonight, but the flag in center field is absolutely still. Some pennants above the rooftop of the stadium still blowing out to right. Here's the pitch. Toby takes inside with a fastball. 2-1. Toby bluffed the bunt on the first pitch, but has given no indication of bunting in either of the last 2. 2 balls and a strike, and let's see what happens now. Beniquez, with good speed, has stolen 9 bases for the Rangers, although he's also been thrown out trying to steal 9 times. Line leads a throw by Rozema. Beniquez back in, standing up this time, and Lance Parrish, remember, has a fine throwing arm. Got a good crowd here in Detroit tonight. On a Tuesday night. Beautiful weather here all day long after a day of rain yesterday and through much of the night. Benikas away from first. He's not running. The pitch is high, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Roseman doing a bit of landscaping out in front of the mound. With that left foot, the front foot comes down. Now he goes back to the rosin bag. Toby, another quick glance at third base coach Pat Corrales. 3-1, the count to Hara. That wasn't lightning. That was my earphone hitting the microphone. There's the throw to first. Benikas dives back in. Boy, Roseman made it very close that time. He made a low throw, and Thompson reached down and almost was able to put the ball right in the hand of Benikas. Just not quite in time. 3-1 to Hara. Roseman set. 3-1 pitch. High, ball 4. Benikas goes down to second base. Second walk by Roseman. Now the Rangers have runners at first and second and nobody out, and that brings up Mike Hargrove. And now he gives a look to third base coach Pat Corrales. So the Rangers could well be thinking bunt here with Wills, Sundberg, and Oliver due up after Hargrove. And, of course, you get that runner to third base with 1 out, and there are a variety of ways he can score then. If you get them both along, then a base hit could score them both. But it's much tougher to sacrifice the runners along when you've got them at first and second because they can just make that force out at third base. The only way, really, to make it work without laying down the perfect bunt is just to make that third baseman field it, unless they put on a play where the shortstop comes down. Benikas and Hara get their leads. Hargrove is bunting, and the ball comes up and hits the bat. Foul ball. Hargrove bunted the ball to the first base side that time, but the ball came up off the ground and hit the bat a second time. Foul ball, and Hargrove was still in the batter's box. 0-1. If he'd been out of the batter's box, of course, then he'd be called out. Now Hargrove, a long look at third base coach Pat Corrales. Jason Thompson playing very shallow at first. Rodriguez not so shallow at third. He wants to be able to stay back if he can. Hargrove turns the bunt, takes low, ball 1. Here's a throw to first, and Hara just barely safe. Lou Whitaker came in from behind that time, and Parrish threw over there. And if his throw had been lower, he would have gotten Toby, but the throw was high, and Whitaker had to go up to get it and then come down. Otherwise, Toby was picked off at first base. So the Tigers had a pickoff play on that time as Toby getting a long lead at first with Thompson already playing down the line. 1-1 to Hargrove. Here's the stretch. Hargrove turns the bunt, bunts it out toward the mound. Now Parrish picks it up. He goes to second. Not in time. All hands are safe. Parrish took the gamble. He thought he might be able to get the middle runner, Toby Hara. Couldn't do it. And then the shortstop, Trammell, fired over to first, thinking he might still have time to get Hargrove. But he was not in time there either. It'll be a sacrifice bunt for Hargrove. And he is safe on the fielder's choice, so no at bat. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out, and here's Bump Wills. Boy, Parrish took a big gamble there, and he overestimated perhaps his throwing arm and underestimated terribly the running ability of Toby Hara. That's the second time now in 2 ball games that Toby, with good hustle into second base, has helped the Ranger cause. He did it on Sunday night, breaking up a double play that resulted in a run scoring for Texas. Here he beats that throw to second. Bases loaded. Here's Wills. The stretch in the pitch. Line drive. Base hit. Left field. Benikas scores. Here comes Hara. Here comes Kemp's throw. It is not in time. The Rangers score twice. And Toby, after making the slide, jumps up, goes back and touches the bag just to make sure. Here comes Ralph Houk. Texas has taken a 3-1 lead. A base hit to left field by Bump Wills. And Wills is 3 for 3 tonight. Bump is really starting to hit the baseball for the Rangers. He had 3 hits on Friday night against Cleveland, and now has 3 more hits here tonight, and he picks up his 38th and 39th RBIs. And that is all for Dave Rozema. The call has gone to the bullpen for right-hander Jack Morris. So we've got a break in the action from Detroit, and this is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
Your day and night dealer, Ford Heating and Air Conditioning.
Right-hander Jack Morris comes on to pitch for the Detroit Tigers in relief of Dave Rozema. And Mike Jorgensen goes in to run at second base for Mike Hargrove. And we're not exactly sure if this is just a tactical move by Billy Hunter or if there's something wrong with Hargrove. At any rate, Jorgensen is in to run at second base. Jim Sundberg, the batter, coming up against Morris. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. So the Rangers trying to bunt again with Jim Sundberg. They've got the power coming up. Oliver, Bonds, and Jorgensen goes back to second. You could see a tactical move for taking Hargrove out here. Jorgensen with better speed. Got a better chance to get over to third base, and then a better chance to score and a fly ball to the outfield than did Hargrove. Really like to get that extra run. Sundberg turns to bunt. Bunts it foul back of the plate. Sundberg upset with himself. The count is 0-2. Sonny last year had 20 successful sacrifice bunts. And this year he's had 1. Is that possible? Of course, the Rangers have not been bunting him as much this year. One of the big reasons is because he's had a hot bat, one of the best in the Rangers ball club all season. Now the count is 2 strikes and no balls. Let's see. Sundberg takes a little bit low, maybe inside. Morris and Parrish both thought they had a strike, as did the Tiger fans. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and now Parrish has a talk with plate umpire Joe Brinkman. Jorgensen at second base, Wills at first, nobody out. The Rangers looking for big inning right now. 1-2 pitch. High, it skips by the catcher and back to the screen. Both runners move up. Morris threw a high fastball that time, and it went right over the head of Parrish. It just skimmed off the top of his glove. So now the count is 2-2, and a wild pitch has moved both runners along. So the thing that Sundberg was unable to do with the bunt has now been done with a wild pitch. The Tigers bring the infield in. 3-1 Texas. The Rangers now with 7 hits, as Rozema went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits, 2 walks and a strikeout, responsible for the base runners. Morris from the stretch, 2-2 pitch, bouncer foul, third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Under normal circumstances, with less than 2 outs and a runner at third, the batter would really be thinking of getting that ball to the outfield, hitting it hard somewhere. But, of course, Sundberg with a count of 2 strikes already before the runners got to third, so he'll be thinking more along the lines of just making contact somewhere, staying alive. 2-2, the count to Sundberg, the stretch and the pitch. Change-up, swatted to third. Here comes the runner down the line. Now, Jorgensen gets in a rundown. They throw to the third baseman, Rodriguez. He throws home to Morris, who tags him out, but Sundberg gets down to second. A whale of a play by Jorgensen. He got in the rundown, and he stayed in the rundown until Jim Sundberg could get down to second base. That goes from the third baseman to the catcher to the third baseman to the pitcher. That's 5-2 to 5-1. Unless I missed a sequence in there somewhere. 5-2, 5-1. You agree with that, Bill? Let's see, 5-2. Now they're going to walk Al Oliver to load the bases and get to Bobby Bonds. It is 5-2, 5-1. Okay. Thank you. There's ball 4 to Al Oliver. Now the bases are loaded for Bobby Bonds, and the Tigers will bring the infield back looking for the double play. Jorgensen's retired, 5-2, 5-1. Bases loaded for Bonds. He is flied out and singled. Morris from the stretch. The pitch to Bonds. Swung up, slow bounce to third base side. Rodriguez, here's the ball go by him in the left field. Will scores. Sundberg scores. Bonds going for second. He is safe at second base. And the Rangers lead it 5-1. Bobby Bonds gets the ball by third baseman Rodriguez. A slow chopper down the third base side. And Rodriguez was going to have a terrible time in throwing out anybody there. And then the short hop got under his glove. He never touched it and into shallow left field. 2 runs scored. Bonds ends up at second with a double, and the Rangers lead it 5-1. And here's Richie Zisk. RBIs numbers 61 and 62 for Bobby Bonds. All the runs will be charged to Dave Rozema. Here's Zisk, the stretch in the pitch. Swung on, hard bounce to third base line. Oliver heads home. Rodriguez throws to Parrish. Parrish runs Oliver down and tags him out back near third. No chance for Zisk to get down to second base. Richie had overrun the bag at first, and he's got his hands on his hips. That'll go from 5-2 on the putout on Al Oliver. Wills and Sundberg both scored, and Bonds double. Bonds ends up now at third base. Zisk at first on the fielder's choice. And here's John Lowenstein, the 9th man to bat in the inning. 4 runs home for the Rangers. 5-1 Texas. Here's the pitch to Lowenstein. Change up way outside, ball 1. Wow, the Red Sox were leading 8-4 over Cleveland, and Cleveland got 3 runs in the 5th inning. So the score is now 8-7 Boston, batting in the bottom of the 5th. Fastball to Lowenstein. Swinging strike, 1-1. Morris threw him a changeup away and threw him a low fastball. Juan Beniquez, who started it all with a base hit, is on deck. All 5 of the runs charged to Dave Rozema. 4 in the inning for Texas. They lead it 5-1. Now have 8 hits. 1-1 pitch, changeup. Lowenstein out in front of it with a swinging strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lowenstein has grounded to first and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Now we got a report from Kansas City that the Royals are leading 4-0 over Chicago. Lowenstein looks at a changeup outside, 2-2. Morris has thrown 4 pitches and 3 of them changeups. Gotten 2 or 3 reports that it was 4-2 Kansas City. 2-2 pitch to Steiner. Fastball low, 3-2. Count is full on Lowenstein, and Richie Zisk with 2 outs will be off with this pitch. Bobby Bonds, the runner at third. 4 runs across for Texas here in the 5th. And they lead it 5-1. And Paul Mirabella takes the mound. The Rangers go out and get some runs. There goes Zisk. 3-2 pitch is swung on and pop foul right over our heads into the second deck. 3-2. Chicago did not score in the 4th inning, and now we see that it is Kansas City 4, Chicago 2. Kansas City batting in the bottom of the 4th, 4-2. Morris set. There goes Zisk. 3-2 pitch is swung on it high and deep to left center field. Back goes Kemp. He's on the warning track, and he makes the catch. Right back near the 365-foot side in deep left center field. And it's a long out for Lowenstein, and the Rangers are finally retired. But they score 4 runs, 3 hits. There were 2 walks and 2 left. And after 4.5 innings, Texas 5, Detroit 1. John Miller, Bill Merrill, and Jim Birdsong back at Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Mike Jorgensen stays in the ball game to play first base for the Rangers as Texas gets 4 runs in the 5th inning. Beniquez got a single, Harrah walked. Hargrove laid down a nice sacrifice bunt. They threw to second, not in time to get Harrah. The bases were loaded. Then Wills got a base hit for 2 runs and 3-1. Sundberg get into a fielder's choice, but ended up at second base when Jorgensen got into a rundown. Runners at second and third. Oliver was walked, and Bonds hit a chopper that got under the glove of third baseman Rodriguez and went as a 2-run double. 4 runs in for the Rangers, and they lead it 5-1. Mickey Stanley leads off here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Detroit Tigers. Stanley takes low and inside and a curveball, ball 1.
Mickey Stanley, Alan Trammell, and Ron LaFleur, the 8, 9, and 1 spots in the batting order for the Tigers. Stanley grounded out to second his first time. The 1-0 pitch, fastball, good for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Atlanta 3, Cincinnati nothing. Cincinnati batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Phil Niekro has a no-hitter going through the first 6 innings of that ball game. 1-1 pitch, fouled back to the screen by Stanley. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, we'll keep an eye on that one for you. Phil Niekro. He toils year after year for a ball club that is usually in the 2nd division. He's always up around 17 to 20 victories. He's got 13 victories this year, and tonight looking for that no-hitter. Now the 1-2 pitch to Stanley. Curveball, high, 2-2. Seems to me as though it would be extremely tough for a knuckleball pitcher to throw a no-hitter. As Jim Palmer and Tom Seaver said, a lot of luck involved anyway in a no-hitter. Here's a pop foul back out of play by Stanley. The count holds on at 2-2. But for a knuckleballer, there's an element of luck in almost every pitch because nobody, especially the pitcher, knows exactly where the ball's going to go. And the batter always knows what he's going to get, usually. The Niekro will sneak in a fastball from time to time. 2-2 pitch to Stanley. Curveball high, ball 3. So the count is full, 3-2. Mirabella has struck out 2 tonight, and he has walked 2. His first walk came around to score the only run for the Tigers. Mirabella has allowed Detroit only 1 hit in the last 3 innings, and he's retired 6 consecutive batters. Stanley hits one high and deep down the left field line. It is hooking foul into the corner. Well, Stanley got what he liked on 3-2 and shot it deep, but foul. 3-2. I hope Niekro does it tonight. 3-2 pitch to Stanley. Fastball hit high in the air to shallow right center field. Bonds moving in and to his right is there and makes the catch. Stanley retired for out number 1 in the 5th. And Mirabella has looked impressive tonight here at Tiger Stadium. You know, he has not pitched a ball game on home turf yet for the Rangers. Pitched in Chicago, at Yankee Stadium, and now here in Detroit. 3 tough places for Ranger pitchers this year. Now Alan Trammell, who walked his first time, swings and fouls a fastball back on the screen. It's 0-1. Ron LaFleur is on deck. LaFleur, the last man to get a base hit for the Tigers. That was back in the 3rd. Last base runner for the Tigers. Outfield is shallow for Trammell. Safe for Ziskin left field, who plays him fairly straight away and medium deep in left. Trammell, right-hand batter. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Very high with a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Montreal 6 and the Mets 1 after 8 innings tonight. Here's the pitch. High with a fastball. 2-1. Mirabella has thrown quite a few pitches tonight. Hit a lot of 3-2 counts on batters. He's 2-1 on Trammell. Takes a breath, kicks, and delivers. Very high again with a fastball. 3-1. Now the windup and the 3-1 pitch to Trammell. Hits the fastball down across the letters for strike 2 called. 3-2. Count is full to Trammell. Another 3-2 pitch from Mirabella. Here it comes. Popped up foul, first base side. Jorgensen starts over, but that one is... hit on the field, and Jorgensen never really went after it. He's not going to win any points with Billy Hunter on that one. That one ended up right next to the railing, but bounced on the warning track. So Trammell tries it again. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Trammell swung in one that was out of the strike zone. Mirabella gets him at a high fastball. Strikeout number 3 for Paul Mirabella. He struck out Whitaker back in the 3rd. And he struck out Rodriguez in the 2nd earlier. 2 outs. Bases empty. Here's Ron LaFleur. He's grounded out and singled. 1 for 2. LaFleur, that wide open stance. Right-hand batter takes a strike on 1. Got a movie for television coming out on LaFleur's book coming up this season on television. High with a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. And LaFleur was involved in some of the filming in that. Billy Martin, among others, will play themselves. 1-1 pitch. Strike 2 on a changeup. Oh, a beauty. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 5-1 Rangers. Bottom of the 5th inning. The Tigers have 2 outs and the base is empty. Mirabella in on the count. 1-2. Here comes the pitch. Very high with a fastball. 2-2. I think LeVar Burton is one of the stars of Roots. Going to play Ron LaFleur in that movie. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, a line drive to center field, base hit. Mirabella got a low fastball that time, and LaFleur golfed it into center field. So LaFleur's got 2 base hits. That's hit number 4 for the Tigers. And here's Lou Whitaker. Fans all shout Lou. Whitaker, as you heard Ralph out, compared to Bobby Richardson. Richardson and Kubek were similar to Whitaker and Trammell in that they roomed together and talked baseball together. Here's the pitch to him. Curveball, all outside, ball 1. Whitaker, left-hand batter. And Whitaker's one of the first to the ballpark every day and one of the last to leave. Outfield plays him way around to the left, looking for him to swing late. The pitch, fastball hit down around the feet, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. LaFleur at first. Usually a threat to steal, but with his ball club trailing by 4 runs here, and the strong-arm Jim Sundberg back at the plate, he may not try it now. He's had quite a record, 51 stolen bases, and been thrown out only 8 times. Jorgensen holds him on the bag. The stretch by Mirabella. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Slow curve outside, 2-1. Now the set by Mirabella. Looks at first. 2-1 pitch. Goes to the fastball. It's lifted foul back out of play. 2-2. Paul Mirabella. Got a throw for him 1 week ago tonight to get into a ball game at Yankee Stadium. He had grown up in New Jersey. Now here he is in Detroit. 2-2 pitch. High, ball 3. So LaFleur will take off with this pitch. 3-2 and 2 outs. Last week when they introduced him in the ball game in New York, the crowd gave out a big ovation. He couldn't believe it. Turned out they were cheering for the Red Sox score. There goes LaFleur. The pitch is high, ball 4. And here comes Rusty Staub. Well, Mirabella certainly didn't want to do that. No way he wants to walk anybody with 2 outs with Rusty Staub coming up. So the Tigers now with their shot at getting back into the ball game, and the Rangers will have some bullpen activity. John Ellis goes running out there. He had been in the dugout. And Doc Medich will get up again for Texas. LaFleur at second, Whitaker at first. A lot of speed in the bases for the Tigers. Here's Staub. 18 home runs, 89 runs batted in. He's 1 for 2 tonight. The pitch. Swung on, bouncing ball wide of first into right field. Base hit. Here comes LaFleur heading home. He'll score. Here's a throw to third. Whitaker stands there as Hara cuts it off, and it's 5-2. The 90th RBI for Rusty Staub, and that brings up Jason Thompson, who represents the potential tying run and who has the power to become the tying run. And now pitching coach Sid Hudson comes walking out to the mound to have a chat with Mirabella. Well, Rusty Staub, boy, Mr. Dependable this year. 90 RBIs for Staub. Bill mentioned Jim Rice has at least 89 now, because he got a 3-run homer tonight. He may have gotten some other RBIs in that game, too. Who knows? But at least with 89. It's 5-2. Hudson, just as he starts to leave, has another thought and goes back to talk to Mirabella briefly again, and now leaves the mound. Whitaker at third. Staub at first, and 2 men out. All of this starting with 2 outs. LaFleur got a base hit with 2 outs. Whitaker walked, and now Staub has singled home a run. It's 5-2. Jason Thompson is popped to third and hit a comebacker, 0 for 2. But he has 22 home runs and 80 RBIs. Staub with 90, Thompson with 80. Quite a 1-2 punch. Runners lead. Mirabella from the stretch delivers. Curve high and inside, ball one. Crowd at Tiger Stadium. Anticipating a Tiger comeback here. Now the 1-0 pitch. Curveball, low, ball two. Now Mirabella has to make a 2-0 pitch to Jason Thompson. Thompson looks to third base coach Dick Tracewski. You can't make a living making 2-0 pitches to these guys. Now the stretch, the 2-0 pitch. Fastball, good for a strike. Well, he just whipped the fastball down the middle. 2-1. Thompson backs out for a moment. Mirabella, whose jersey and even his pants soaked with perspiration on a humid evening in Detroit, into a stretch. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, bouncing ball right to the second baseman, Wills. Plenty of time, and he throws him out, and the inning is over. So Mirabella gets out of it with a minimum of damage. Minimum of damage. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left after 5. Texas 5, Detroit 2. Hitting number 6, the Rangers come up with Juan Beniquez, Toby Harrah, and Mike Jorgensen against the right-hander Jack Morris. It is 5-2 Texas, leading the Detroit Tigers. And this is the same part of the batting order which led off that 4-run rally in the 5th against Dave Rozema. Beniquez 1 for 2 tonight. Got a base hit to start the 5th inning off and scored the first run of the inning. Doc Medich stays up in the bullpen in right field for the Rangers to continue loosening. Mirabella, as we mentioned earlier, has thrown quite a few pitches tonight. And perhaps they'll start out the inning with Medich here in the bottom of the 6th. Mirabella has thrown enough innings to qualify for a victory tonight. Pitch to Beniquez. There's a fastball. Good for a strike. 1-1. Morris throws pretty hard. In 71 in the 3rd innings this year, though, he's had only 31 strikeouts. He's had control problems at times. The pitch inside. Beniquez jumps back out of the way of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jim Rice has hit another home run for the Boston Red Sox in the 6th inning. His 27th home run, so that gives him at least 90 RBIs. 1-1 pitch to Beniquez. Swung on, hit high and deep and foul down the left field line. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boston got just the 1 run in the 6th inning on Rice's 2nd home run of the ball game. And it is Boston 9 and Cleveland 7. The Yankees got 2 runs in the 6th inning, and after 6, New York 2, Milwaukee nothing. That's Caldwell going for the Brewers tonight. He's trailing 2-0. Beniquez swings, slow chopper, third base side. Rodriguez has to charge. Fields throws. Just got him by a step. Good play by Rodriguez. Beniquez retired, 1 away, and here's Toby Harrah. Toby drew a walk back in the 5th and scored the Rangers' 2nd run of the inning. Detroit got a run in the 1st, and the Rangers tied it with a run in the 4th and then took the lead with 4 in the 5th. Detroit came back with 1 in the 5th, and it's 5-2. The Rangers batting here in the 6th. Time taken now as John Ellis has to go out into right field to chase a loose ball that got out of the bullpen. He's warming up Doc Medich out there. They're in the 9th inning now in Toronto. Blue Jays 5, Baltimore 3. Well, the Orioles having net problems in Canada. Here's the pitch to Harrah. Takes low, ball 1. Toby is 0 for 1. Toronto beat Baltimore yesterday 2-1, and they're leading tonight 5-3 in the 9th. Now the 1-0 pitch to Toby Harrah. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dan Dreesen has singled in the 7th inning to break up Phil Niekro's no-hitter. 1-1 pitch to Toby. Change up high. 2-1. Montreal has beaten the New York Mets 6-1. A 3-hitter tonight for Schatzeder. He's winner 5-3. Now we see that Cincinnati got 2 runs in the 7th inning against Phil Niekro tonight. So it's 3-2 Atlanta after 7. Niekro lost the no-hitter and the shutout in the same inning. Pitch to Harrah low, ball 3. 3-1 to Toby. Now the windup by Morris, the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, hard bounce to third base side, just foul. That was a double all the way, but it was foul by inches, just outside the third base line. Full count to Toby Harrah, 3-2. Now Doc Medich has gotten the code, and he's walking in from the bullpen to the dugout. which would make it seem now that he will come on in the sixth. Here's a fastball swung on and missed by Harris. Strike three. 2 outs in the inning. That's the first strikeout for Morris, and that brings up Mike Jorgensen. Jorgensen batting for the first time in this ball game. Jorgensen has batted 37 times this year with 5 base hits, a 135 average. Pitch to him, swung on, a foul ball hit back to the screen. 0-1. So what's that? The Red Sox have hit 4 homers tonight. Cleveland's hit 2 in that ball game. 6 homers in Boston tonight in 6 innings. 9-7 Red Sox. 1 strike pitch to Jorgensen. A slow curveball over for strike 2. Well, that was a beauty. 0-2. 2 outs, bases empty for the Rangers, top of the 6th. 2 strike pitch, fastball high and away. 1-2. 20,000 plus the attendance here tonight. Jorgensen fouls this one back to the screen. Bill tells me 20,951. That's a fine crowd here tonight. Tomorrow night, the Tigers will pass the 1.2 million mark in attendance. This crowd tonight puts them about 1,188,000. 1-2 pitch, high and outside, 2-2. They expect a big crowd tomorrow night, even though Fedrich is not pitching. Had a good advance sale, and very few of the people who bought tickets took advantage of the Tigers offering to let them get a refund tonight. 2-2 pitch. Jorgensen lifts a fly ball to shallow right field. Whitaker backs up into shallow right, and the Tigers' second baseman makes the catch to end the inning. The Rangers go in order here in the 6th. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the last of the 6th. The score, Texas 5, the Tigers 2. Doc Medich comes on in the 6th inning in relief of Paul Mirabella. And he'll try to hold on to this one for the rookie left-hander of the Rangers. And before he faces Steve Kemp to start things off, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas.
When it comes to Ranger baseball coverage, the Dallas Times-Herald takes a big lead. Catch it at home tomorrow.
Doc Medich making his 6th relief appearance of the season. The last time he worked the ball game in relief was way back on June the 3rd, so it's been more than 2 months. And that ball game, he went 4 2/3 innings against the Toronto Blue Jays, allowing only 1 run for the Rangers. Pitched extremely well. He does have a save this year in relief. Back on May the 24th at Minnesota, he worked the last inning of an extra inning ball game and picked up a save for Paul Lindblad, who won that ball game. And Doc overall has 5 wins and 6 losses. And he has not had a decision out of the bullpen this year for Texas. All of those decisions as a starter. Overall, a 3.75 earned run average in 1 2/3 innings. He's allowed 99 base hits, has struck out 40 and walked 36, and allowed only 4 home run balls. He has 2 shutouts for the Rangers. Here's Kemp. Left-hand batter takes a strike. 0-1. Kemp, Parrish, and Rodriguez. A left-hand batter and 2 right-hand batters. There's Billy Hunter now going to his right-hander. See if Ralph Houck starts coming out with a few more left-hand batters. They can really flood the left-hand batters at you. You start a right-hand pitcher against them, they'll come in with 7 consecutive left-hand batters. Pitch is hit high and deep to left field. Back goes this to the warning track, to the wall, and right at the wall he makes the catch. Steve Kemp goes to the off-field, a straightaway shot to left field, and Zisk was right backed up to the auxiliary scoreboard, which is implanted in the wall from the ground up in left field, and right there he made the grab. Well, Kemp gives a good shot at it, but not quite long enough. And here's Lance Parrish. He 2 times has sent long fly balls to the outfield. He swings and misses. 0-1. Parrish doesn't see a whole lot of right-hand pitchers. He usually starts against the left-handers, and Milt May goes against the right-handers. 1 strike pitch. Medich comes in sidearm with a fastball outside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lance Parrish flied to deep left and flied to deep center. 1-1 pitch again. The submarine-style fastball high and outside. 2-1 to Parrish. Aurelio Rodriguez next. Phil Mankowski usually plays against the right-handers. 2-1 pitch. Swung on hard bounce to third base side. A diving stab by Lowenstein. Gets up. Throws. He got him. Holy Toledo, what a play. Lowenstein made a headlong dive to his left, or correct that, to his right, toward the third base line. He was sprawled out all over the ground with his arms stretched out as far as they would go. He quickly got to his feet. He made the throw to first in time to get Parrish. Fine play by Lowenstein. Parrish wondering what do you have to do to get a base hit around here. He's hit it well 3 times. All would-be hits at extra base hits, and he's 0 for 3. Now Rodriguez swings hard, shot. Hey, Toby Harrah makes a leaping grab. Oh, hit it if you will, but it'll do you no good. A shot to the wall, a shot down the line, and a shot headed for left center, and all 3 turned into outs by the Ranger defense. When you're hot, you're hot. After 6, Texas 5, Detroit 2.
WDAP 820. We're in Beltline Road.
Doc Medich didn't seem to fool too many people there in the inning, but it didn't make any difference as the Ranger defense rose to the occasion, especially in the instance of Toby Harrah, as he rose high enough to spear a line shot off the bat of Rodriguez to end the inning. 3 hard-hit balls for the Tigers, all for outs. And the Rangers are playing great ball here tonight. We go to the 7th. It is 5-2 Texas, and back in for more play-by-play. Here's Bill Merrill.
Right, John, and Bump Wills starts it off. Bump 3 for 3 tonight. So he's upping that average that started off at 230. Batting left-handed against the right-hander, Jack Morris. In relief, started Dave Rozema. Morris has given the Rangers only 1 base hit since coming on, walked the batter, and has struck out 1, allowed no run. Right-hander deals, and here's a ball popped in the air. It's going to be trouble. Picked up a Morris, throws to first. Not in time, and Wills is 4 for 4. So twice tonight he's been able to bunt his way on. The other 2 times, singles. So Bump has a 4 for 4 night going. He bunted it right up the first base side. It popped in the air. It looked for a moment as though the catcher, Parrish, might have a play on it in the air. Could not get there. It dropped down the line, and Morris picked it up, wheeled, and fired hard to the first baseman, Thompson. And Will just legged it out on a pat-pat play. The Rangers got their leadoff batter aboard.
That's the first 4-hit day of the season for Bump Wills.
Well, I'm sure Bump's very happy about it.
It's good to see him using that great speed of his with the bunts. That's 2 bunt singles in this game, and he had one the other night, too, somewhere.
All right, here's Sundberg. Takes the pitch up high. Ball 1. Jim's nothing out of 3 tonight. Has been on a fielder's choice and scored a run. Started the night at an even 300, so he's dropped a little below that right now. Infield for the Tigers, set in double play depth. The Rangers lead it 5-2 and trying to get more. Change-up, drill deep to left, way back. That ball is going. It is gone. Upper deck, home run. Jim Sundberg. Oh, he cackled that one.
There goes warning track.
Oh, me. Well, he got that extra slice of bacon this morning, and he ripped that one in the upper deck. Deep home run to left field. And Jim has his 3rd home run of the year, and RBIs number 35 and 36. So the Rangers now lead it 7-2. They've extended that boast to 5 runs, and here's Oliver. He's 1 for 1 tonight, been on twice on walks.
Sundberg had not hit a home run since back on May the 20th when he hit one at the Kingdome.
Oliver takes one low and away, and it's 1-0. Well, the Rangers now 7 runs on 10 hits. First home run of the night, and Sundberg pickled it into the seats. And the upper deck, there's a drive to left field. Kemp will be able to make the play on this one. Had him played just right and grabbed the liner for the out. So a punch single and a home run have given the Rangers a couple of runs, and Oliver now has been retired for the first time tonight with a liner to left. And here's Bobby Bonds. Bonds is 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. He stands in now with 1 out, nobody on. So I'll say Sonny really gave that one a shot. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Over the auxiliary scoreboard in the upper deck. Not all that deep where it went out, but when you consider it was in the upper deck, it's a pretty fair piece. Pitch outside. The count is 2-0 on Bonds. Zisk will be next. Talking with Oliver and Bonds today, and mentioned that Al had moved into a tie with Carew virtually, actually leading him by 10,000th of a point. There's a pitch. Change-up curveball, strike call, and it's 2-1. And Bobby mentioned that they might be walking out a little more, and he said, well, if they do that, I'm going to knock the ball out of the yard. He's done it a couple of times tonight. Foul ball cut off to the left side, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Had a single in the fourth, double, under the glove of a charging Aurelio Rodriguez. And the Rangers' 4-run fifth inning got RBI 61-62. And his 17th double of the year. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hopped into right field. Coming on is Stanley. He's there, puts it away, and there are 2 men gone. So a high fly ball to shallow right off of the bat of Bonds. 2 men down. Here's Zisk. Nothing out of 3 tonight. Richie came on hitting at 260. Josh getting back to play in the Cleveland series. And inserted in left field tonight. Had a couple of base hits his first 2 times up, sent out on the disabled list. And the ball poked to right field. Stanley charges over and will not get it. Takes it on the roll, and Zisk has his first hit of the evening, and the Rangers have their 11th base hit. So with 2 men out, Zisk pokes one to the opposite field. And that's the 4th hit given up by Morris. We got some activity down the right side. Or down the left side, rather. Left-hander Ed Glenn up and throwing. John Lowenstein stands in. John with a brilliant fielding gem. Bottom of the inning. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Nothing out of 3 tonight. Grounded out, struck out, and hit a fly ball. John came in batting it. 231. Here's a check by Morris. Change-up over but low, and the count is 2 balls, no strikes. Kansas City maintaining a lead over Chicago. No report on that ball game in quite some time. Here's a look on the pitch. Outside, high, and the count is 3 balls to nothing. Down at first is Richie Zisk. Yankees with a 2-0 lead after 7 innings against Milwaukee. Toronto has won over Baltimore 5-3 tonight. Here's the pitch, 3-0, and he misses. Ball 4. So that moves Zisk over to second base. Lowenstein becomes a base runner with a second walk given up by the right-hander Jack Morris. And with 2 on and 2 out, here's Juan Benitez. 1 out of 3 and has scored a run. Single back in the 5th inning. Underwood, the winner for Toronto, 6-10. Flanagan, the loser, he's 14-10 at 19,000 plus. At Toronto tonight to watch the Blue Jays win over the Orioles by a count of 5-3. All right, 2 on, 2 outs. 2 runs are in. Zisk at second. Lowenstein on at first. Here's the pitch. Very high. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. So Morris finding control a little troublesome right now. Gave up a leadoff bunt single to Wills, and then Sundberg poked one in the left field upper deck. Gives the Rangers a 7-2 lead. Here's the pitch. Foul ball shot back into the stand. Upper deck. The count levels at 1-1. Then after getting Oliver and Bonds on fly balls, Zisk a single to right and then walk Lowenstein, and he's 1-1 to Benitez. Rangers, after trailing by a 1-0 count from the first inning, they tied it in the 4th, then picked up 4 in the 5th inning to lead it 5-1. Tigers came back to make it 5-2. Swinging, missing, strike 2 on Benitez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now Texas with 2 more here in the 7th inning.
Chicago got, correct that, Kansas City got 4 runs in the 5th inning. And after 5, Kansas City 8, Chicago 2.
That's a pretty good hill to climb. All right, here's the 1-2 delivery outside. And the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Base runners, Zisk at second, and Lowenstein on at first, ready to move on anything with 2 men out. Morris peering in. Lance Parrish has the sign for him, and he comes to the belt. Check on the pitch. Reach far, ripped down the right field side. That one's going to be trouble. Zisk will score. And here's the throw going into second, and Benitez stands with a double. And a run is in, and it makes it an 8-2 ball game. One took that one to the opposite field, and Mickey Stanley, playing well over toward right center, had no chance to get over to the ball, and it drops in for Benika's second hit of the evening. Gives him an RBI, his 30th of the year. Coming in to score as Zisk was away and running with the ball being hit, as well as Lowenstein. Zisk scores from second. Lowenstein makes tracks from first over to third, and Benikas goes into second. And out to the mound goes Ralph Houk. That's base hit number 5 off Morris, and run number 3. And we're going to get a call to the bullpen, so Morris is out of there, and Ed Glenn, the left-hander, is coming on to work. Glenn's 6'2", 180-pounder from Flushing, New York. And there's no wins or losses this year in 3 prior appearances, has worked only 2 and a third inning. So he has not been used, just recently called up. And he's on, making his 4th appearance of the year. In 2 and a third innings, no runs, and has allowed 1 hit, walked 1 and struck out 3. He's the left-hander, on to replace reliever Jack Morris here in the 7th inning, as the Rangers have started to rough up Morris. And with 2 runners in scoring position, Benikas the second, Lowenstein at third. The first man that the lefty will face will be right-handed batting Toby Harrah. Well, the Rangers picked up 3 runs here in the inning on a 2-run homer by Sundberg, and now a run-producing double by Benikas that chases Ziskin from second base and moves Lowenstein over to third. Rangers now 8 runs on 12 hits, no errors, and the Tigers 2 runs on only 5 hits and no errors. Started tonight, Mirabella worked the first 5 innings, tagged for the 2 runs and the 5 hits, and Doc Medich came on in relief in the 6th inning, and despite the fact that the ball was hit hard on him, he got 3 up and 3 down. So now it's just Medich's duty to hold the line for the Rangers to pick up the win. By the way, Royal Stadium in Kansas City is a beautiful sight to see, and you can be there in person and watch the Rangers and the Royals battle it out for 3 games in a row if you join the Kansas City Fly-In, slated for August 18th to the 20th. Dan Diper Tours of Arlington, in cooperation with the Rangers, sponsoring the weekend trip to Kansas City at the low price of $199 per person. That includes a round-trip airfare, 2 nights in a first-class Kansas City hotel on a double occupancy basis. Reserve seat tickets to the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday Ranger Royal games and other extras. Space is limited and filling fast, so send in your $25 deposit per person to Dan Diper Tours, Box 580 Arlington, 76010, or call the Dan Diper Agency, the number 265-2236, for full details. Here's Harrah standing in. Toby has grounded out, walked, scored a run, and been down on strikes. So he's nothing out of 2 tonight, and he'll be facing left-hander Ed Glenn. There's the ball hit deep to right field, way back, and drifting back is Stanley, looking up, jump. Oh, what a fine leaping catch against the wall to take away extra base hit from Toby Harrah. And Mickey Stanley dived up against the wall in deep right center field and pulled that one down to finally end the inning. But the Rangers come up with 3 runs. Listen to the hand for Stanley. On 4 hits, no errors, 2 men left. And after 6.5 innings, it's Texas 8 and Detroit 2. Tim Corcoran will come on to bat for Mickey Stanley, who just made a tremendous catch, robbing Harrah of extra bases. He went way up on the wall in deep right center field. So Corcoran will come on to bat for Stanley. And Tim Corcoran hitting at .264. No homers and 16 runs batted in. But with the right-hander on, now the manager wants to get the left-hander batter in there. All right, here's the first pitch from Medich. Swung on a bouncing ball up the first base side. Jorgensen grabs it near the bag. 2 strides, and he's on the bag for the out. So Corcoran, first ball hitting, rolls it on a couple of hops to Mike Jorgensen. First baseman takes care of it, and there's 1 gone. Medich came on to work the 6th inning at 3 men in a row, and now has retired the 4th man that he's faced, and he'll be looking at Right-handed batting shortstop Alan Trammell, who has walked and struck out. He's nothing out of one. Hitting at 266 coming on tonight. Stands medium up, well up in the batter's box. Right-handed batter, and Medich comes to him. Strike popped over the outside corner at the letters, and it's 0-1. Kansas City leading Chicago 8-2 tonight. Boston still holding a 9-7 lead over Cleveland. There's a foul ball shot back, and the count is no balls, 2 strikes. New York leading Milwaukee 2-0 after 7. Toronto has beaten Baltimore 5-3. And Minnesota leads Seattle 2-1 in the 5th inning. Here's the pitch by Medich. Very high outside, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Right here, it's the Rangers 8 and the Tigers 2. Rangers got a little getting even to do with Detroit. They've won 6 of the first 8 contests, and of course, they've already won the season series. There's a drive to right. Bonds in a hurry. Gets there. Grabs the liner for the out. Ball hit sharply. Well, of the 5 men that Medich has faced, 4 of them hit the ball very well, but to no avail. All right, here's the top of the order. Ron LaFleur, 2 out of 3 tonight. His hits came against the left-hander, Paul Mirabella, who stands to pick up his 2nd win of the evening of the season since being called up. LaFleur backs off and takes the pitch for a ball. Ron batting at 289, so he's up over 290 right now. With a couple of hits tonight. Here's the pitch. Strike popped through, and it's 1-1. 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Medich winds and delivers. Strike 2 called. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outfield just about straight away, and the infield shading a little bit toward the left side, with Wills giving toward the second base area. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Sidearm swung and a miss. He struck him out with a breaking ball. Tigers are gone in order in the 7th, and after 7 full, Texas 8 and Detroit 2.
WDAP 820.
Here's Mike Jorgensen, left-hander against left-hander. Jorgensen takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Jorgensen has batted 1 time and popped down to the second baseman. He came on in the 5th inning as a pinch runner for Mike Hargrove, a retired 1 for 2 tonight. 1 strike pitch. Blew a fastball by him, and swinging strike 2. Glenn can really throw hard. 6'2", 180. Big leg kick, and that ball comes flying in there. Struck out 3 in 2 1/3 innings before today. Half swing by Jorgie, and foul tips the ball back to the screen. No balls, 2 strikes. Glenn retired Toby Harrah on a fly ball that backed up Mickey Stanley to the wall in right field, and then he even then had to make a leaping grab for it. Tim Corcoran stays in the ball game to play right field for the Tigers. Now the 2-strike pitch to Jorgensen. Here it comes. Curveball high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. They're in the 8th inning now in Boston. Boston 9, Cleveland 7. Kansas City with a big lead over Chicago tonight, 8-2 after 5. Yankees lead Milwaukee 2-0 in the 8th inning. Now the 1-2 pitch. High again with a fastball. 2-2. We're so close to the home plate area in this ballpark, and it really gives you a good idea just how hard some of these guys throw. 2-2 pitch. High, ball 3, 3-2. It also gives you that much more respect for the big league hitter. The fact that he can stand that close to that pitcher who's throwing that hard and with such a variety of pitches and make contact so often. Now the 3-2 pitch to Jorgensen. Here it comes. And the ball hits off the bat. Jorgie got the bat down, was going to hold back, and the ball hit off the bat. So ball 4 was fouled off, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Minnesota 2, Seattle 1 after 5 innings. Al Oliver 1 for 2 tonight. And, of course, we have no idea what Rod Carew did tonight. 3-2 to Jorgensen again. Well, Glenn is working from the stretch here with the bases empty. Throws ball 4. Sitting up here looking at Glenn's motion, and it seemed that there was something odd. Took a real good look there, and he was working from the stretch with the bases empty. He must feel that he has better control working from the stretch position than from the windup. Here's Bump Wills. Bump is 4 for 4 tonight. And now for the first time, he bats right-handed.
Bump's first 4-hit game, and now he'll try to get that 5th hit. Here's the pitch to Bump. He turns to bunt the ball, pulls back and takes inside. Ball 1. 2 of his 4 hits have been bunt base hits. Now Wills looks at third base coach Pat Corrales with an 8-2 score. Tigers might get a little upset if Wills were bunting here. Baseball players consider rubbing it in. Pitch, Wills bunts at it, and he did not pull back in time. The pitch was out of the strike zone, but plate umpire Brinkman said he bunted at it. 1 ball, 1 strike. First baseman Jason Thompson holding on the bag against Mike Jorgensen. Offhand, I cannot recall that any Ranger batter has gotten 5 hits in a ball game this year. There have been a few 4-hit games. Pitch, strike 2 call in the inside corner. 1-2. Yankees got a run in the 7th, and now in the 8th inning, it is Yankees 3, Brewers nothing. Dick Tidrow throwing that shutout tonight. Let's see, they're in the 9th inning now. Now the set by Glenn, the 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, he got him looking. Wills has a few words for Joe Brinkman as he leaves the home plate area. All in all, not a bad night for Bump. Nonetheless, 4 for 5 tonight. That brings up Jim Sundberg. He's had 1 base hit, but he scored 2 runs and been credited with 2 RBIs and a tremendous home run in the upper deck here. And it was way back in the upper deck as well. What a shot. It's the longest of the 3 home runs he's hit this year. Georgie at first with 1 out. The pitch to Sundberg. Swing and a miss. A slider, and it's 0-1. Sundberg came in batting .300. Al Oliver on deck. Home run by the Rangers tonight was their 80th of the year. Sundberg swings and misses at a fastball, and it's 0-2. Tigers have Steve Foucault, a right-hander, throwing in their bullpen, former Ranger. Now the stretch. Glenn's 2-strike pitch to Sundberg. Slider hits the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Steve Foucault, stocky right-hander who was really the Rangers bullpen in that memorable 1974 season. The right-hand reliever out of Houck's bullpen here. Hiller, of course, his left-hand ace. Jorgensen at first, the 1-2 pitch. Sundberg swings, bouncing ball foul, third base side. Pat Corrales barehands it, gets a round of applause. A ball and 2 strikes to Sundberg. Outfield and infield playing Sundberg to pull. Glenn's 1-2 pitch. There's a low slider missing inside. 2-2. That's a wicked pitch from a left-hand pitcher. Comes in around the knees and the inside, and the batter can pick up that it's a slider he'll lay off, and the ball will sink below the strike zone. But if he doesn't pick it up, could be a swinging strike 3. 2-2 pitch. Inside. 2, and the count is 3-2. Jorgensen may be running here with 1 out. 3-2 to Sundberg. Sundberg doesn't strike out a whole lot. So let's see what Billy Hunter does. 3-2 to Sundberg. Rangers, of course, lead by 6. There goes Jorgensen. The pitch is strike 3 call. Parrish's throw to second is not in time. Stolen base for Jorgensen. Sundberg stays at the plate. The question plate umpire Joe Brinkman about that pitch. 2 straight Ranger batters now have been called out on strikes, and both of them disagreed with Brinkman's call. Sundberg now 1 for 5. And a stolen base for Jorgensen. That is the Rangers' 2nd stolen base tonight, their 134th stolen base of the season. Jorgensen gets his 3rd stolen base of the season. He's been caught once. Here's Al Oliver. He's 1 for 2 with 2 walks, and to score a run, runner at second. 2 outs. Pitch to Oliver. Low, ball 1. Oliver was .323 at game time. So he'll be a little bit above that with a 1 for 2. Now Glenn into a stretch. Check second, the 1-0 pitch. Strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bobby Bonds would be next. Oliver, besides trying to help the Rangers get back in the pennant race, involved in that batting race title with Carew now. Swings, it's a shot to deep right field. Corcoran is back to the warning track, and he makes the catch. Oliver hit it a ton to straightaway right field, and Corcoran had to back up to the warning track to haul it in. Rangers go down in the 8th. No runs, no hits, 1 walk, 1 left. After 7.5, the score, Texas 8, Tigers 2. John Miller, Bill Merrill, and Jim Birdsong from Tiger Stadium. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Here's Lou Whitaker, Rusty Staub, and Jason Thompson against Doc Medich. Be a tough inning for Doc with 3 tough left-hand batters to start it off, and a 4th left-hand batter due up after them. Whitaker tonight is 0 for 1 and has walked twice and scored one of the Tigers' 2 runs. Right-hander Medich delivers. Low and outside, ball 1. Third baseman John Lowenstein plays into the grass. They look for Whitaker to hit to the left side. Got good speed. 1-0 pitch. Strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Atlanta beat Cincinnati tonight 6-5. Phil Niekro, the winner, and Tom Hume is the loser. Whitaker swings and slashes one to center field. Base hit. He hit it on the shortstop side of second, but on through to center. Hit number 6 for the Tigers, the first against Doc Medich. He had retired all 6 of the batters that he had faced, and here's Rusty Staub. Staub is 2 for 3 with a run batted in, giving him 90. Meanwhile, in Boston, Jim Rice has hit 2 home runs tonight, a 3-run shot and a solo home run. So he has at least 4 RBIs to give him at least 90 as well. 8-2, Rangers lead. The Tigers trying to get something going here in the 8th. The sent by Medich, the pitch to Staub. Foul ball. Hit back to the screen. 0-1. Phil Niekro, who had a no-hitter through the first 6 innings, gave up 5 runs and 5 hits in the last 3 innings tonight, but still beat the Reds 6-5. Griffey and Bench hit home runs for the Reds. 1 strike pitch. Swung on, bouncing ball to first. Jorgensen Fields goes to second for 1. Harrah back to first. 2 double play. 3-6-3. First, short, first. Twin killing. So Staub goes down on the double play. Now the bases are empty. And here's Jason Thompson. The Rangers have handled Thompson tonight thus far. He popped out to third, he hit a comebacker, and he grounded out to second. All 3 of those times against the left-hander Mirabella. Thompson, big, tall, powerful left-hand swinger. Fred Koenig told me that Thompson came out and took some extra batting practice tonight, early, well, really this afternoon. Fastball inside and low, and Thompson hops out of the way. 1 ball, no strikes. And Koenig said that Thompson hit at least 18 balls into the upper deck. Deep right field and center field. We saw him hit a few up into an auxiliary press box on the rooftop in right field. Swings a high chopper foul first base side. 1 ball, 1 strike. This ballpark, double-deck affair, and it's got a rooftop all the way around except in straightaway center. And on that rooftop, there's a press box, and when they used to play football here, I guess they used to sell some of those seats, special boxes. It's a long way to get one up there. Pitch to Thompson low, 2-1. But Thompson put on quite a show. He put, just while we were here during regular batting practice, 2 or 3 balls up into that press box area on the rooftop. Pitch is low, ball 3, 3-1. Jason Thompson. The guy is going to be a great one. It's hard to dispute right now. But he's a great one right now. Pitch pops up, third base side, foul ground. Lowenstein goes over, but that one is back out of play. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Any guy is hitting in the 290s with 22 homers and 80 RBIs. I guess it's all on how you term great. Reggie Jackson's been great for years, and he's only had 1 year where he's ever even hit in the 290s. Now the 3-2 pitch to Thompson. Low, ball 4. Middich allows his first walk of the ball game. Tigers get another base runner in the inning, now with 2 outs, and here's Steve Kemp. He singled home a run back in the first and then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Beniquez gunned him down at second base. Since then, he has fouled out to the third baseman and lined hard to the wall in left field, and Zisk caught that one. So he's 1 for 3. Kansas City has made a pitching change in the 7th inning. Steve Mengori has come on for them, replacing Splittorff. So maybe the White Sox are doing something there. It is 8-3 Kansas City, and Splittorff has been knocked out of the box. 7th inning last night was a bad night for the Royals. Lamar Johnson with a 3-run homer moved Chicago from a 3-2 deficit to a 5-3 advantage, and they won the ball game 5-3. Here's Steve Kemp. The pitch to him. Strike at the knees, 0-1. Kemp doesn't like the call. Rich Gossage has come on to relieve Dick Tidrow in the 9th inning tonight at Yankee Stadium. Yankees 3, Brewers nothing. So the Brewers doing a little damage, perhaps. Or threatening to. 1 strike pitch, fastball inside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kemp had to jump out of the way of that one. Outfield deep and straight away for this left-hand swinger. 1-1 pitch, swung on hard shot. 1 hop to Wills going to his right. He scoops it off to Hara, covering second for the force out on Jason Thompson, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left after 8 full. It is Texas 8, Detroit 2. On we go to the 9th inning. Ed Glynn even throws his warm-up pitches from the stretch position. He'll face Bobby Bonds, Richie Zisk, and John Lowenstein for the Rangers. First 3 batters due up. 8 runs, 12 hits, and no errors for Texas. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Detroit Tigers. The Rangers coming into Tiger Stadium tonight with a road record of 18 wins and 33 losses, and it is quite obvious, and the Rangers will all agree, that that is something that has got to alter between now and the rest of the season. They've got 30 ball games, including this one tonight, left in the road, and they're going to have to win more of those 30 than they lose to really have a shot at the pennant in this Western Division. And that means, of course, they're going to have to do quite a bit of what they haven't been doing on the road. Here's Bobby Bonds. He's 2 for 4 tonight with a couple of runs batted in. Swings at a slider, doesn't get it. It's 0-1. Bonds came in hitting .270, so he's raised that a little bit. Bonds has been a real steady hitter for the Rangers now the last month and a half. High with a fastball. In fact, you go back now to June 16th, he was hitting .236. Pitch swung on. You can tell it goodbye. It hits the facade of the second deck. Home run number 21 for Bobby Bonds. A rocket that hit the facade of the second deck. And it is 9-2 Rangers. Whoa, what a shot that was. So Bonds gets congratulations from Richie Zisk. Trots into the dugout where the Rangers will wait to give him their congratulations. And it is 9-2 Texas. The Rangers' second home run tonight. And Bobby Bonds hits his first homer since he hit one in the 9th inning against Sparky Lyle 1 week ago tonight. Now Zisk. Fastball over for a strike. Richie is 1 for 4 in the ball game. So Bonds has 3 RBIs in this game. Now the 1 strike pitch to Rich. Just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sundberg has had a home run and 2 RBIs. Wills has 4 hits and 2 RBIs. Beniquez with an RBI. And Bonds with 3 RBIs. 1-1 pitch. Slider low. 2-1. Bonds has hit 7 home runs since July the 19th. About, 3 weeks? 2-1 pitch. Just a little chopper first base side, and it rolls off foul. Everybody running after that one. Zisk running down the first base side. Glenn running over to the first base side. And the catcher running up the first base side. The umpire running out after them to follow the play. Look Looked like a guy running for the corner of the end zone with 3 or 4 defenders and a referee chasing him. But Parrish is going to tackle him out there. 2-2 to Richie Zisk. Leadoff homer for Bonds here in the 9th inning. Kurt Bavacqua has come out of the on-deck circle. 2-2 pitch, swung on and fouled back to the screen. 2-2. Bonds has now had 7 home runs in his last 19 games. He's had 7 homers and 17 RBIs in 19 games. Now the 2-2 pitch to Zisk. Look out. Fastball inside and tight. Count is full, 3-2. Home run by Bonds was the Rangers' 81st homer of the year. Foucault throwing again for the Tigers down the left field way. It's full to Richie Zisk. The stretch by Glenn and the pitch. Swung on a high drive. Left center field, fairly deep, but playable for Campen. He makes the catch. So Zisk gets one fairly well to left field, but an easy out. One away, and here's Kurt Bavacqua batting for Lowenstein. And Kurt will stay in to play third base. So Billy Hunter, with the left-hander throwing right now, decides to go to his right-hand batter, Kurt Bavacqua. Lowenstein went 0 for 3 tonight with a walk, and also played a fine third base for the Rangers. So here's Dirty Kurt. Bavacqua batting .199, 2 homers and 17 RBIs. Pitch, look out. That one almost hit him on the foot. Low and on the inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Kurt bringing that average up steadily since June 29th. He's had 20 base hits in 79 at-bats, so he's been hitting better than .250 since then. He lines one hard, left field line, fair ball, heading for the corner. Kemp can't get to it. It bounces up against the wall. Bavacqua speeds into second, around second, and he'll hold on there with a double. So Kurt Bavacqua, as a pinch hitter, lines a double down the left field line. Hit number 14 for the Texas Rangers, and that brings up Juan Benitez. The Rangers having one of their highest hit productions in a while. So the last fairly big total they had was a 12-hit ball game against the White Sox on the 28th of July. And they won there 9-5. Here's Juan Benitez. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Juan swings and chops one foul back to the screen. Benitez has hit a single and a double, has a run batted in and a run scored. 9-0 Texas. One is out. A run across for the Rangers, and Bavacqua is down at second base. Texas' biggest hit production of the season was a 19-hit ball game against Toronto. Benitez hits a high fly ball, slicing off down the right field line. A long run for Corcoran. Into the bullpen he goes and makes the catch in foul ground. Tagging and going down to third base is Kurt Bavacqua. So Benitez goes down, but he does move the runner down to third. And that brings up Toby Harrah. Harrah was the first batter to face Glenn back in the 7th inning. And he hit a shot that was caught on a leap by Mickey Stanley right up against the wall in deep right center. Incidentally, if you're wondering why a runner can move up on a ball that is in foul ground, any ball that is hit in the air and caught in the air on the fly, if a batter tags up, he can move up on it. If a catcher catches a foul pop in foul ground, the batter thinks he can make it. He's quite eligible to move up. Pitch to Harrell, low, ball 1. Been games throughout down the years in baseball. The runner at third and less than 2 out, where an outfielder in foul ground might drop a fly ball intentionally or let it drop. Pitch to Harrah, called a strike, 1-1. Which that run might put your ball club behind to tie up a ball game or lose a game for you if you caught it. You're better off not catching it, so the man cannot move up. It's just a foul ball. 1-1 pitch to Harrah, swung on, fouled up into the upper deck. 1-2. But all of this is just to illustrate that any ball that is caught on the fly, if a runner tags up on it, he can move up at his own risk. Toby Harrah batting with 2 outs and a runner at third here in the ninth. The pitch to him. Slider low and inside. Toby lays off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Rangers with 9 runs tonight. They got 9 on July 28th at Chicago. That's their biggest total since July 15th, and they got 11 in Baltimore. 12 in Boston back in July 13th. 2-2 pitch. Toby hits a number toward the mound, third base side. Glenn off the mound, fields it, and throws him out. Harrah retired. That's all for the Rangers, but on Bobby Bonds' homer, they get a run. There were 2 base hits. Kurt Bevacqua stranded at third base. And we go to the last of the 9th inning with Texas having a 7-run advantage. It is 9-2. Going back to the Rangers scorebook here, then you've got to feel optimistic about it. Here's Lance Parrish, and he drives one up the alley into right center field. Bobby Bonds over to cut it off. Parrish heading for second. Here's the throw, not in time. A double for Parrish. Hit number 7 for the Detroit Tigers. Lance Parrish was threatening to get a base hit for extra bases all night long, and he finally does it there. He'd hit one deep left center field that was caught. He'd hit one to deep center field that was caught. He'd hit one down the third base line that was speared by Lowenstein, who then threw him out. But finally here, he gets his extra base hit to the off field, right center. Now Rodriguez. He's 0 for 3 tonight. His last time lined to shortstop against Medich. Takes low, ball 1. Kurt Bevacqua stays in the ball game to play third base for the Rangers. Bottom of the 9th inning, 9-2 Texas. 20,951 Tiger fans here tonight, many of whom have gone home. 1-0 pitch, outside, ball 2, 2-0. Doc Medich trying to get a save tonight for Paul Mirabella. Medich coming on with the Rangers leading 5-2 after 5 innings. Now the set and the 2-0 pitch. Swung on a high pop-up. Shallow right field. Jorgensen and Wills go out. Wills calls and makes the catch. Rodriguez retired, and Parrish holds on at second base. Rodriguez retired for the 4th time, and here's Tim Corcoran. Corcoran is 0 for 1. He came on as a pinch batter for Mickey Stanley in the 7th inning. After Medich had come on. Corcoran at .264 at game time. Been bringing his average up steadily as the season has gone along. Early in the season, the only team he could really get hits against was Texas. He wore the Rangers out. Well, he could just barely get a hit against anybody else. Looks like he's a good hitter, contact hitter. Left-hand batter takes low and outside, ball 1. He stands with a pronounced closed stance. Kind of got that Mel Ott front foot. Front foot is up on the tiptoe. Really leans back in the box. Medich sent at the belt, the 1-0 pitch. Low, ball 2, 2-0. Milt May has come out of the on-deck circle. Left-hand hitting catcher, and he'll act as a pinch batter for Trammell. In the 9th inning. Medich looks in for the sign from Sundberg. Outfield is straight away for Corcoran. Runner at second. Medich is at the belt. Check second, the 2-0 pitch. Swung on, lifted foul off to the third base side, out of play. 2-1. After the ball game, we'll have our post-game interview tonight. There are no broadcast lines installed down in the dugout for us here in Detroit. Bill Merrill has gotten an interview for you on tape. And then we'll have the Rangers scorecard. We'll take a look at all of the action. Winning pitchers, hits and errors, and home runs tonight. 2-1 pitch. Corcoran takes strike 2 call. A beauty. Knee high in the outside corner. 2-2. Now Medich into his stretch. Looks at second. A 2-2 pitch to Corcoran. Swung on it high and deep to center field. That's the wrong place to hit it here. Beniquez has it. Parrish tags at second, bluffs, but he'll not go against Beniquez's arm. Juan fires a strike in toward third, cut off by Harrah. Corcoran retired, 2 outs. Parrish still at second, and here's Milt May. In Minneapolis tonight, actually in Bloomington, Mike Cubbage has hit a grand slam home run in the 6th inning. And after 6, it is Minnesota 6 and Seattle 2. A grand slammer for Cubbage tonight.
Marty Patton now has come on to relieve for Roboski in the 7th inning. Chicago might really be doing something. Here's the pitch to Milt May, outside, ball 1. May is batting .262, 9 home runs, 28 runs batted in. He's been in 70 ball games for the Tigers. First Roboski, now Patton in the 7th inning for the Kansas City Royals. They were leading 8-3 going into the 7th. Here's the pitch to May. Called a strike on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Out in Oakland, the California Angels failed to score in the 1st inning. And the A's are now batting in the bottom of the 1st. I think that's supposed to be John Henry Johnson for Oakland tonight and Paul Hartzell for California. That's right. 1-1 pitch. May swings, and it's a line drive foul down the right field line. Now Medich is in on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs for the Tigers. Bottom of the 9th. Doc Medich trying to wrap up the Rangers' 4th consecutive victory. The victory tonight would go to Mirabella, and Medich would get a save. Now the stretch and the 1-2 pitch. Inside with a fastball. 2-2. Medich has met one of the requirements of getting a save, and that is if you finish a ball game. And he's met another requirement that says, and you work at least 3 innings. So therefore, he qualifies for a save tonight. Here's the set for the 2-2 pitch to Milt May. Here it comes. Swung on it deep to right field, heading for the corner, and it's up against the wall and 1 hop. Coming in to score is Parrish. May goes into second with a double, and it's 9-3. So Milt May keeps this one going a little bit longer. Hit number 8 for the Detroit Tigers. Milt May gets a pinch hit double and his 29th RBI. May had hit a 3-run homer against Doc on Medich's first start this season, you may recall, at Arlington Stadium, the 4th game of the season. So he's still got the touch against Medich. Now here's Ron LaFleur. Takes a strike, 0-1. LaFleur is 2 for 4 tonight. 9-3. The first run scored against Doc Medich. Boston has beaten Cleveland tonight, 9-7. The Red Sox could go 8 games up on Milwaukee. The Brewers are losing in the 9th. 1 strike pitch. There's a liner to right field. Base hit, heading for the corner. Bonds over to cut it off. LaFleur heading for second, and he'll get a double. Coming in to score is May, and it's 9-4. LaFleur gets his 3rd hit of the ball game and picks up his 42nd RBI. And that double puts him into the team lead. He has 20 doubles. Here's Lou Whitaker, and before he bats, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas.
If you can't be in the grandstand tonight, be at the newsstand in the morning and pick up a Dallas Times-Herald Texas edition.
Here's Lou Whitaker, and Medich delivers a strike to him. It's 0-1. Tigers have hit 3 doubles in the inning. Parrish had a double. May had a 2-out double, and LaFleur followed that up with a double. 9-4. The Tigers with 9 hits. The 1-strike pitch. Whitaker takes low and inside. Jim Umbarger gets up in the Rangers bullpen now. 9-4 ball game. Well, after all the pitching changes in the 7th inning tonight, Chicago only got 1 run at Kansas City. It's the Royals 8 and Chicago 4. 1-1 pitch. Strike 2 call on the outside corner. Knee high right in the corner. A ball and 2 strikes. Kansas City 8, Chicago 4. The Royals batting in the bottom of the 7th. Johnny Grubb and Andre Thornton hitting home runs tonight for Cleveland. Pitch inside, 2-2. Well, now they've changed that. Thornton did not hit a home run tonight. Alexander hit a home run for Cleveland. Fisk, Rice, Evans, and Rice all homered for Boston. 9-7 Boston over Cleveland. That's the final from Fenway Park. 2 outs, runner at second. Here's the stretch by Medich, and now he steps off the rubber. The count is 2-2 to Lou Whitaker. Now Medich looks in for the side. Here's the stretch. He's at the belt. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on a liner to left. Zisk is right there. Makes the catch. The Rangers win it. So Doc Medich has a tough ninth inning. But it doesn't mean a thing, as the Rangers had a 7-run lead to work with. Here in the ninth for Detroit, 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 left. And the final score, Texas 9, Detroit 4. We'll be back with the totals in 60 seconds. Here are the totals for the ball game tonight for the Texas Rangers. 9 runs, 14 hits, no errors, and 9 men left on base. For the Detroit Tigers, 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 7 men left on. Home runs in the ball game. Jim Sundberg hit his third, a 2-run shot, and Bobby Bonds hit his 21st, a solo. The winning pitcher was Paul Mirabella, his second Major League victory. He is now 2-0 with a save to Doc Medich, his second save, and Medich now is in second place in the Rangers ball club in saves. The losing pitcher is Dave Rozema. He is now 5-6. It's the first time the Rangers have beaten Rozema this year. The attendance, 20,951, and the ball game took 2 hours and 56 minutes to play. John Miller with Bill Merrill and our technical director, Jim Birdsong, thanking you for joining us tonight and reminding you our next broadcast of Ranger Baseball tomorrow night will be on the air at 6:45 with a warm-up show, and then it will be the Rangers and Detroit for the final time in 1978. Ferguson Jenkins goes after his 11th victory. He'll be opposed by a rookie right-hander, Kip Young, who is 3-1.